Okay. Oh, that would help. Okay. And that. What's going on? What's going on? This is an impromptu live. Normally I'd be singing and performing on my live, but evening live is a different story. My name is Jennifer. I'm here for a Q&A with anybody who's interested in some of the stuff I've been posting on my TikTok account. So lower that a bit. So welcome. Hold on, let me just send out the invites because I know there are a bunch of people that were waiting for this one specifically. So let's see who is around and about. Let's see, you. Let's see. How's everybody doing? Oh, she's at work. So if people have questions, I got answers. Yeah, I just came on, Darnell. I'm just sending out the invites to people. This is the live for people who had questions about all the things that I've been posting on my TikTok. People were like, how did you get on a billboard in Times Square? How did you and stuff. So I'm just like kind of here to answer some questions that people have. Just give me a second as I'm like sending these invites out to ensure that I got everybody that I think wanted to know. Let's see, you. Let's see. That's her. And what the hell? There was just an invite by somebody who named themselves Strap On, of all things. Jesus Christ. Alright, so shares went. Okay, I could lower this and keep this volume on. And it's going through the litany of shares. Awesome, just watched Phones, Kevin Gates. Okay, mode. And this is the first live that popped up. Oh, nice. Yay. Literally, I just came on, so, like, perfect timing. So yeah, there were a couple people like, how have you met these people? Like, how did you get, like the photos, the instances. So it's just like, okay, I told people I'd eventually tell them, and so this was the live I figured I'd tell them because I'm not going to be on for the rest of the week on live because of family, so a family event. So I figured, okay, let me at least carve out some time for people, so I could at least like be able to like give people like say hi and tell people. Explain to people what's going on. Don't mind me. I'm just chapped. So, was it? Switch. How many phones do you have, dude? Just switched phones. Everything is good. Excuse me. Oh, everything is good. Just pretty much, as I said, kind of here to answer questions that people may have had. But thank you for joining the Discord server, dude. I appreciate it. I'm still encouraging people from Team who have joined Team Janifer or who will future join Team Janifer to join, only because like people are still wondering what's going to happen in April. Hey, Brightly, how are you? If you are already part of Team Janifer and got the invite please join the Discord, because we don't know what's going to happen in April, if this app is going to shut down again, which was one of the reasons why I created the Discord initially. So if you're not part of Team Janifer and you want to be, you can always press this button. It costs 1 coin, which is equivalent to a penny. So it's just like, yo, that's all it is, like a penny. So it's kind of funny, this TikTok journey. Darnell, you were on that live with me. So I was on live one evening with an old friend of mine who decided to pull together an interview with me. I was like, okay, I had no idea this was gonna happen, but yay! Just two, one with service and the one Wi-Fi only. Got it. Fair enough. Like, I was about to say, like, dude, are you balling like that? Like, if you are, God bless you. It's like, I'm not in that bracket as of right now. I don't know if I ever want to be, but it's like, give like alternate numbers everywhere. So so what was it? I just blanked out for a second. I'm sorry. I had like 4 things just pop into my head of groceries, laundry, haircut, like, when everything starts like reminding you, oh yeah, you have to do that eventually. I laugh out loud, I wish. Oh my goodness. You never know. It's like TikTok is like the social media universe equivalent to like if you are doing a MMORPG where you really don't know who you're talking to, unless they are presenting like myself, my actual face. But a lot of times people use an alternate name and such, so you don't really know exactly who you're dealing with. So it's like, like, you could be talking to somebody that looks like this for their TikTok, and yes, I understand. Thank you for the share, whoever that was. It was like, yay. But yeah, and yes, I actually do think this face is adorable, and on occasion I will except like it gets twitchy with my eyes.
Darnell says no, Jennifer.
Okay, I will get back to regular face now. I won't freak you out anymore. You like that that auto speech functionality? Now you get an active voice in my chat. So, yes, I am back to normal. I do not have like weird giant baby face. So, to explain at least some of the photos that have been showing on my TikTok, and oh yeah, and I had to start wearing this because I'm starting to get like like people messaging me like, like basically, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a husband? Off market. Thank you. I use it sparingly. I appreciate that. You can use it as much as you want. It's just like all of a sudden, like being crowded with like 101 conversations, like, because I know people who use it because it's a really helpful function, especially if the people are like visually impaired, to be able to hear the comment. So I could tell it's definitely helpful if you use it for everybody. But I also have seen people abuse it in a live before, so it's like, okay, I'm just going to have it for my people, and that is it, because I know my people will not spam. So it's cool. I've seen it used with Creator. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. You know what? It's cool. It's a cool function as long as and if you use it appropriately. But as I said, I don't have it where every comment will be read out loud. That's going to be a pain. It's like, oh, can you imagine like somebody trying to spam, and all of a sudden it's read out loud. It's like, no, I do not want my live spam for, like, flagged for copyright or flagged for any like for incorrect verbiage, because I know the bots are out there. And yes, they've told us the bots are actually out there. They check after the first 5 minutes, and then after 30 minutes, and then followed by 90 minutes. So basically they do check in on creators who are doing something that requires their attention, but users abuse it. Yeah, they do. You're absolutely right, they do. So welcome other people who are joining my live. Hey Francis, how are you? Did you have a good nap? Are you human? Are you feeling human again? So Mama T-Rex too. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a lot of my regulars. You can't sleep? Oh, you have to wake up, like, you have to be up in a few hours too, right, Mama T-Rex? I think it's time for round two. I think it's time for round two. What, nap number 2, or are you going for dinner? Because, like, surprise, no more. There aren't read on those lives. Yeah, I have no idea, truthfully. About 3, nap 2. Fair enough. Mama T-Rex, how many, like how many hours until you have to get up for work? Jesus. Because I know you're like in the Netherlands, so you're completely different time zone than I currently am. Oh, you're gonna hurt, babes. I am so sorry. Oh my god. I feel you. I've had those days. The one thing good about my job, though, is if I wake up like super early, because my boss is like 7 hours ahead of me, so it's like, okay, I'll log in early for 3 hours, and then I could log out early 3 hours. It's one of those days. Fair enough. How's the training going? Francis, really? It's that bad? You need 2 naps? It's like, man, like, I can imagine you have an early day. You start the day early if you're like getting out of work about the time I am. Excuse me. Usually my toys get swag. Swag. Go to sleep ever is awesome, but it's not worth it. I appreciate the compliment, but yeah, girl, you're going to need sleep. Yeah, as far as I am aware of, he is not live. So you have, unless you have another boy toy that you actually go onto their live. I'm not going to say in his presence, but you may want to consider like an alternate on a different time zone, so you could swap at any point. Darnell, you know exactly what we're discussing. What Mama T-Rex is talking about. But Mama, up until it's been locked down, there's an apostrophe S. He doesn't have it locked down, so yeah. Yeah. There's no ring on it, so sorry, Darnell. I have no filter. I'm grateful that the guys that are on the chat are so cool about it. Oh my god. There's just, yeah. Should I like, I feel like I have to play like Beyonce. It's like, if you like, you should have put a ring on it. It's like, although I feel like some people feel like, was it, um, what was that song? Hold on, it's like the background is throwing me off. It's like when it's like I have a man. What your man got to do with me? I can imagine some minion get annoyed with me. I know that there are a few that are a little bit more possessive, and anybody who has a kind of better, like a closer connection to them, they get ratchet. So like I still remember that one time where I was on a battle with him, and just and I was logging off my live, and I just went back into his, and I kind of scrolled through the comments because I wanted to see if I missed anything in the conversation. And some chick, I don't remember who she said, who she is, but she said she wrote the word desperate. And I was like, you're ratchet. It's like, you don't know me, and most like, and I've never seen her name before, and I'm like, weirdo. But you know what? I think some people, because they get a little bit more attention from him than others, they get like kind of offended. It's like, oh, he's supposed to be mine. Excuse me, nobody lays claim to him. No apologies needed. Just making sure it's not me being dirty minded. Positive. Thank you for the gift, Two Cap. How you doing? Some people are yeah, I agree with you. Some people are, it's really weird. Okay, so I understand, like myself and Swag and other people that do live are hosts. That's what we do, right? But it's just like I'm catering to my crew, all of you. Okay, not one specific person. If you come to my live more often, I get to know you more. That's kind of like natural, right? You know people more based off of the type of conversations you have, like how long you have known them, just basic engagement chatter, right? So it's understandable if, like Mama T Rex, you and I are getting to know each other more because you're coming through onto my live, and I see you on Swag's live, and we talk. And so, yeah, yeah, absolutely, that's how it works in real life. But then there are some people that be like, because in a way, it's a weird sort of celebrity where, oh, you are on my screen, you are like, I'm giving you my time, so therefore you belong to me, kind of deal. And it's like the crazy fan. You know what I'm talking about? Like people, in South Korea, where they're like, they don't like to see their idols dating, even though it's natural part of life. And anybody that their favorite idol is dating gets a whole lot of hate. It's kind of like that, and I'm like, mind you, this is one of the reasons why I specifically tell people I am married, because then there's no weird caveat of a guy getting any other intentions or a female getting intentions, right? You know, Look, I make it clear, this is my situation, but there are people that get possessive, and I'm like, they have their own lives. They shut down the thing, like, and that's why he told, yeah. And I think it was the right thing. It was the right thing to do. Whether he does or does not, I most likely he does, but whether he does or does not, it was a smart move for him to do, because when we present ourselves out there and say we're already off the market, it's less inclined to have somebody get too attached. Although you will have occasional, like, blood sucking leeches. Like they're like, mine. It's like, no, we're friends here. It's sharing, not in that weird way. It's like, we're all friends here. A good live. You're being one of the best gives. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Darnell. But I think maybe because I don't get the numbers like Wendy. She plays Pac-Man. That's all you see on her screen, and she's not able to engage with people because she can't see the screen to respond, nor does she have a reader kind of reading her what's going on. But the thing is, I will tell you, I I kind of envy her in this way. Consistently, she will have over 100 people on her live watching. But the thing is, they're just observing. They don't see her either, but they kind of engage with each other. It's almost like she's hosting a game, she's playing, and everybody's like chatting around her. But it's kind of crazy because when you see those numbers, it's like holy cow. But I have to say her Miss Pac-Man game is strong. She's good. I watch her play, like she gets the higher levels, I get anxiety. I'm like, I can't take it. But then like there are some creators like myself, I think the difference is that where you all of you and I have built in a way some kind of camaraderie, like because you guys come back, which tells me that I'm doing something right, even though my numbers are nowhere as good as that, like most viewers, like most hosts. I'm getting there. It's like, was it January to February to March. So I've like April 11th will be my third month doing live consistently. I haven't seen her. She was in here a little today. I only see the Korean men first. Girl, that's my feed. That's my FYP. And Chinese dramas and the men from Chinese drama, the short dramas. Yep, that's my FYP. It's like, yeah, they're all far away. Like, mind you, there's for women, because women have I think less of a tendency to go and try to grab onto somebody who's just a visual, where men is a different story. But the thing is, like, I look, and when I do look, it's like I look, and when I do look, I go to my husband. I'm like. I have a favorite bodybuilder. Is he Korean also? Everybody has the right to their type, and their FYP will call them out on it, which is beautiful. See? Korean too. That's the thing about the FYP. Because of how long you watch, this is what I love about TikTok. Your FYP will always call you out. And it's based on how long you've watched something. It's not much live or content. I get the occasional live. I don't get too many, and generally it's music people, which is fine, because musicians, we talk about music and all that. That makes perfect sense, and it's generally about them trying to promote their career. But some agencies in Korea are try to encourage their people to do 10 hours and a shot. I'm like, I've asked one of them, I said, dude, when do you sleep? like I know you eat on air, but dude, when do you sleep? And somebody suggested, like, why don't you do like a sleepathon? I'm like, huh? Why would you do that? Yeah. I like I'm talking to you. You're waking up and you're yeah. I like I'm talking to you. You're waking up and you're supposed to be up in 3 hours to get to work. Oh my god. Do you have more people to train when you do tomorrow? You're gonna need a lot of coffee. You're gonna need a lot of coffee, my dear. Oh my goodness. I will do a sleepathon. Hold on. Let me see if I could find it. I saw this sticker that somebody had, and I don't even know. It's not a sticker. It was, hold on. Men get weird, not in a good way, on other ladies. I've seen that. I've seen that. There's no means no, man. It's weird, and the problem is there are some people are giving bad information to other guys, like, no means no, man. Just and they're like, no means yes, like, and no means yes and yes means yes. So the question, how does a woman say no? It's like, if and it's really weird. It's like, if I ignore them, they are more persistent. It's like, what am I supposed to do? The only lives I visit are swag. Aw, I'm one of the 3. I appreciate it. Like, I will come on some of my followers' lives and say hello and like give a little support and hang out for a bit, because I believe it's good to boost everyone up. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me just like say hi to everybody. How you doing? And you never know, like when certain people that go live, are coming through, I will hype them up to my people, which I've done with Swag, and I've done with Wendy, and like whoever my regulars are, even 2Cap on occasion. My friend want me to go live too because of my no filter. Yeah, you'd be like Issa, from my understanding. I heard her lives are very much like that too. The thing is this, it's a double-edged sword, right? I mean, it's great for content. It's like, you have a lively personality, and it's you get banned by TikTok. You might. Oh my god, I've seen it, and a lady being polite, and it just gets worse. Yeah, I was as fucked up as what I'm about to say is. I was thinking yesterday, maybe it was a good thing that I wasn't born like conventionally pretty, because then I would get so much like issues from guys not even being able to take no for an answer. I mean, I get it still. I got it still being plus size and like the way I am. And you've seen some of my photos when I was younger, early 2000 and all that. So I've always been this size, and I still got that flack. So I was thinking it would have been multiplied. It would be more so if I were, say, conventionally pretty and slender and all that. And I'm just wondering, life would be freaking tiring, because I'd have to carry a mace, and like I'd have to carry gear just in case somebody got stupid. And I used to carry that when I lived in New York. Thankfully, I haven't had to use it, because the one thing that New Yorkers have as a defense system is an attitude of being a New Yorker, especially if you've been there for too long. It sometimes feels more that I have a fetish for men when I use... really? That you felt you were the fetish? It was the fetish for... I think, if anything, I think that only happened once for me. Where because they're like, oh, dating an Asian, right? I think that only happened to me once, though. Darnell, so the whole Asian mystique of a non-Asian dating an Asian, just to say, because there's a whole illusion of how Asians are perceived in the media. They're the whole submissive kind of woman business, and the fact of the matter is, a lot of us are ball busters. I know I take no shit from people. So I can imagine, like, what, and knowing how Mama T-Rex is, I'm assuming she is one herself, like, she is a ballbuster. Right. We're either seen as supposedly dragon ladies, and, like, cool but powerful, or like, demure and, like, submissive, So it's either, like, the two extremes. and because we're seen as exotic or whatever have you. So as I said, that was only one occasion, but he let it show in the beginning about his kink, and yeah, it went nowhere after the first date. I'm like, no, bye. You see where the door is. The whole Full Metal Jacket stare. Yes, where women want to date somebody in the military or date somebody who is in uniform. Yes, very much in that aesthetic. Like there's this belief that a personality type comes with the visual, and it's not necessarily the case. But I have to say, when it comes to military life will make anyone hard. So, not saying that, like, they're all going to be, like, rough and rugged, all of them. But it's just like, dude, some of the stuff that they go through will mess you up. If you remember the scene, you know what I'm talking about. No, I don't. I've never really seen. I know the movie. I've never really seen it. So. But I would make the assumption that I kind of know what you're talking about. Are you talking? No, there's another film where they had the soundbite of in Vietnam. It's like me love you long time, kind of like like even the thought of that line just cringe. It's like not fun. Okay, yeah, like there's this weird assumption that one equates to the other, and it doesn't. It's there's no correlation there. But people, I think, try to associate one with the other because that's the easiest way for them to relate. It's like, oh, because I've seen it in film, so this is what it's supposed to be. No, get over it. Full Metal Jacket is where the soundbite comes. Okay, yeah, I hate that soundbite. That sound. There's two soundbites I loathed. That one is one, and because I used to be a poker dealer, and blackjack dealer, the whole line of winner chicken dinner. I hate that line because people try to say it and try to sound like think that they're sounding cool when they say it, and it is based off a Vegas thing where there was a casino that would, if you got a blackjack, they would give you like enough through a basic win to buy a chicken dinner. And this was like during the time of like Frank Sinatra Day and whatever have you. So it was a big thing. So the whole thing of winner chicken dinner kind of came up. I still loathe that comment. Oh my god. You don't know how often I've heard that when I've dealt blackjack. I'm like, still loathe that comment. Oh my god. You don't know how often I've heard that when I've dealt blackjack. I'm like, can you be a little bit more creative, please? But yeah, it got repopularized in the film 21, where they were talking, where it was they were recreating the situation with the MIT team, where they went to the casinos to work on the odds of a blackjack table. Thank you, my dear. Thank you for the likes. Oh, by the way, Mama T-Rex, I believe I sent you the invite to my Discord server. Darnell, do you want to show her what she can do now? Because Darnell has joined the Discord, and you as member Mama T-Rex are able to join the Discord server. If you don't know, it's free to join, but for Team Jennifer members to get into my channel, you must be a Team Jennifer member, which you are. So outside of the niceties that we have in our crew when we talk, basically you could basically, Darnell, getting the auto read. the auto comment read. So if you put if once you well, Darnell will show you. So yeah, there are extra bonuses when I will try to figure out this score this week. Yeah, absolutely. I'm primarily doing it because there's a possibility that U.S. subscribers to TikTok may get kicked off because of the pending situation going on in April. Another TikTok ban, potentially. So whether that does or doesn't, I just want to make sure that I have all my team members in one place so I could let them know which platform I'm going to be streaming on moving forward, which is causing people's lives to get glitchy, which is why a lot of us are getting a drop in viewership. Lives to get glitchy, which is why a lot of us are getting a drop in viewership. Cheeto Mussolini. Cheeto Mussolini. Oh, but wait a second, wasn't Mussolini a socialist? Wait a second. Affiliation of Mussolini. Mussolini. No, he was a fascist. That's it. It's like, which one was he? He's like fascist. Italian fascist. That's it. I will leave that alone because if I ever do visit Italy, which will happen at some point, yeah, I don't want this coming back to bite me in the butt. I glitched right as it was being read. Oh, the Cheetos Mussolini. Still, Cheetos Mussolini is a good one. I'm sorry it's getting glitchy. Hold on. Never mind, I thought I was going to try to change my Wi-Fi settings to see if that would help, but evidently it will not help because it is not on my end. Sorry about that. I was just trying to see if I could fix it on my end, but then I just realized, no, it's on TikTok's end because I've changed my Wi-Fi and it still had the same effect, so... Yeah, no, I am sorry. It's like, oh, damn. Like, Darnell, are you thinking of more more fictitious names for him? I will. Alright, please get some sleep because you may hurt people in the morning if you don't get enough sleep before your workday. Ellie didn't like him either, hence why he ended up swinging. Wasn't he swinging, like, by his toes? Like, I think he was. Hold on. Yeah, I think he was hung by his feet, right? After being executed, his body. Yeah. Yeah, he was placed upside down. Darnell Bell. Darnell, this is why I like Mama T-Rex. She is just so welcoming. Get some sleep, babes. I will see you on most likely Swag's Live because I'm off live for the rest of the week. Thank you for coming through. So, family stuff. Not bad family stuff, just family stuff. I'll see you later, babes. Thank you for coming. So, Darnell, because you seem to go through a lot more lives than I do. It's just like I come through, I say hi, or I check it out, I kind of get the vibe of it, and then like I come and go. I know there's some people that are more focused on what they're doing, like particularly gamers and DJs. Totally get it. but like, what is your experience in regards to other people on live? Like, what, like, do you like what they do? I mean, you're saying I'm one of your top three, which I appreciate. But like, can you give me examples? The lives that come through for me are like mostly talking lives like this. Occasionally I get a DJ, and occasionally I get a gamer. And depending on what they're playing, I'll stay, but normally I don't. Okay. Like, which, you say, okay, so I'm one of your top three. So what, for the other two that you also go to on a regular, what keeps you coming back? I think that's like the better question. Excuse me. Some talk, some have people come up. Got it. But is it just because, are they engaging with you guys as the audience, or are they just talking amongst themselves? You know, what's going on, people? It's really kind of funny, the level of how often I show up on somebody's like live FYP. It's like, hey, what up? And the difference, like the different kinds of people that come through. It's really funny because it caters to the audience that they think would like my content versus the audience I would normally get, I guess. Like, I think that would gravitate toward me. It's like, sometimes I think like I'm a fetish, and that's why I land on somebody else's FYP. It's like, hey, Asian female. It's like, that's like weird. Ends up on somebody's life. The other two I actually talked to as a guest box. Ah, okay. So basically, you're active participant. I got it. That makes sense. You know, if you feel like you're an active participant and that you're being heard and you're having an active conversation, yeah, I totally get it. That's why you go back. Candace, are you here? Because you're one of the people I'm here for. Other creators just watch. Other creators I just watch. So Candace, Darnell is here with us. Yay. So what is your question exactly? Because I know you had one specific, but I want to make sure that I answer all your questions on some of the photos that I've posted up. And no, they are not Photoshopped. They are legitimate photos. And I haven't put some of the crazier ones. Well, I haven't put all the interesting ones out yet. There's still more to come. Same with you. Same with your live through chat, and love the music. Yeah, I think out of all the lives I've seen in regards to music lives, I think I speak more about the music content. Like, I have a better understanding of it than a lot of the other creators that I've seen. But it's kind of unfair. I've been in the business for so long in so many aspects. So it's just like, yeah, I'm not, it's like I'm an elder in a way. It's like, God damn it, I'm showing my age. It's like, it's really funny. I have had people like kind of like test me on rap. Like what 2Cap originally did that with me. It's like he was kind of wary of me, and then we started having conversation of old school rap, and he was like, "Oh, she actually knows her shit." So he hung out, and he stayed. And 2Cap, I don't know if he's in the room right now, but yeah. It's like, I was asking about the Times Square billboard you were on. I thought that was pretty awesome. Okay. So this was during the time where I was working at BET. So BET, it's located in the heart of Times Square. Like, if I ever post up photos of basically from my conference room out to Times Square, you could see where the ball dropped, and you could see where everybody would stand in Times Square. Like that's where it was. So we usually would have a view of at least the opposite street, from where we were in Times Square, right? And there was this one where they were showing ads of people, with a card that's saying their age. And it was for, I think it was United Healthcare or whatnot. So during my lunch hour, I asked my boss, I don't know how long this will take, but do you mind if I do that? They're like, yeah, go ahead, it's a slow day. So I went downstairs, I crossed a couple of streets, and I went to where I thought they were having it, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And they're like, okay, how old are you? And I said my age. At the time I was 36. They're like, all right. And they gave me a card and they took my picture and they said, okay, it'll be up in the next hour or so. Just keep watch. All right, fine. So I go back to my office and I have a window view behind me. It just happens to be where my desk is situated. So every so often I look. And I caught it. I was like, oh, I had my friend, who was still out there. I said, dude, you see me? Yes. Take a photo and send it to me. And that's how I got that angle. So I was like, yay. I can now honestly say I was on Times Square, on the displays in Times Square. It was a cute little thing. But technically, I've been on some other billboards of Times Square that I wasn't even aware of until after the effect, because there was also a karaoke bar that used to be in Times Square, a little off of it, and they would, it was called Spotlight, and the stage would be aired live on their jumbotron, and you could hear what was going on stage, and it was one of my favorite places to go to sing, and because they gave you background singers and that would harmonize, would sing and dance with you. So I would go, and people would come in based on what they heard of me, and they thought I was part of the show. I was like, holy cow, okay, that's fun. But I'm inside doing a live show as they're airing it, so I never got footage of it. I'm so pissed. But yeah, supposedly that happened too, but I only know about it because people came in to the venue and said, we thought you were the show, that's why we came in. It's like, oh my god. Each life is different. But the common thread is my faves is authenticity and relatability. Yes, that's so cool. So technically, I have at least been on a billboard in Times Square twice. Several times through one venue, and then that one big one where I actually caught footage. It's sometimes you get opportunities. It's because everybody's wanting to get themselves on a billboard in Times Square, so they have occasions where they'll a company will be yeah, we're looking for people, and pop pop your head up and be on a billboard in Times Square. So whether I ever make it really big as an artist or not, or as a celebrity or not, I could actually say I've been on a billboard in Times Square, and I've been in the New York Times twice. Oh, and that's a future photo too. I actually have that. As far as I know, I've been in the New York Times twice. Unfortunately, they misspelled my name twice. But you could see me clear as day. It is me. There's no question. But unfortunately, it's sloppy reporting when they report me as Jennifer Chang, and rather than Janifer Chang. So it's guys, you asked me for my name. I spelled it out for you, and you couldn't print it correctly. I've had to have them make corrections on the paper too. Yeah. Yeah, that's another story entirely. It's like, it's kind of funny, I do, in the mornings, before I start actual work, I will go out and I'll say affirmations as I'm walking in my neighborhood. It helps me kind of set my mind for the day, and kind of like push out the negativity. Get the spelling right, guys. Yeah. Because it's unusual, I know that. But so I tell people when they ask me, like, like, what's that name about? Technically, that's the last name of a science fiction author, Lawrence M. Janifer. My parents did not name me after him. My name is actually a mashup of the month of January and the name that came closest to it, which was Jennifer, and mashed it to Janifer. The Even though my birthday is not in January, it's actually in August. So the whole story was, Asian families generally had, back in my parents' day, had multiple children. My mother was one of 5, and my father was one of 5. So what they did was, instead of like doing the A, B, C, first child A, second child B, third child C, they said, okay, first child January, second child February, if that was going to be the case. So that's how they got my name. I ended up with no siblings. I'm an only child. Well, like, only child between my parents. So I have like step siblings, but that was later in life, and we're not really close. But so that's how my name came about. Mashup of January, which has no relation to my birth date in Jennifer. Yeah, weirdness. It's I don't get offended about it anymore. So whenever somebody asks me, I said, just, especially in Starbucks, or when they ask, oh, what's the name of for the order, I'm like, Jan, like January. Make it easy. And then they're like, oh, your name's Janet? No, my name's not Janet. Is your name Jane? No, it's not Jane. It's like, so it is Jan. No, it's not Jan. I'm just telling you because it's easiest for you to get. It's like, there's too many Jennifers and not as many Jans, so at least it's safe. But yeah, I've had people tell me, oh, your parents couldn't spell, that's why you got your name. I was like, no, you're just illiterate. Because you don't know my parents, my family, like, my name is based off of a science fiction author. It's like, yeah, kids, stupidity. Actually, that wasn't a kid, that was an adult acting like a kid. Childlike mind. So yeah, that's how, that whole billboard thing came about. And my whole gripe with New York Times printing my name wrong twice. But for the photos with the celebrities, I think, I think Wendy was the one who wanted to know about that. Hold on, let me see if I could. Did I message her already? Let's see. I'll message her, send her. And that yay is when somebody shares my life. So she wanted to know why I got the photo with David Wright from the New York Mets, and most likely, she will ask about some of the other photos. So just to clarify, I told you guys that I do casino events, so poker, blackjack, and roulette. And I was licensed to do that also for the state of New Jersey, because they required it if you did charity events or, any kind of event, even when you do deal with phony money. So in New York, I did it for many years. I did it for like 12 years. It was to the point by the time I left New York. Thank you for the likes. By the time I left New York, I had been able to work for Caesars at an event, and for what was that company? Oh yes, World Poker Tour. I did a bunch of their satellite events in New York as well as one of their dealers. So, I was paid to deal people cards, and so on occasion you will see me with a lot of photos, with photos of me with famous World Series of Poker winners, bracelet winners. Plenty of photos I have not I have not put up yet. So you'll see soon if you have any understanding of poker or like the world of poker. Phil Gordon, Phil Lack, Daniel Negreanu, like people that are really established in that that field. So Johnny Chan was one of the ones I posted up, but there are a lot more photos up there. But because I had done it for so many years, and it also got me opportunities to deal for places like was it what is that place? Oh my God, they're known for roasting people. What is the Friars Club? So if anybody knows about comedy and like it's like the club to be in if you are a comic writer or if you're a comedian. It is a private club that to get in you need to be sponsored by a member of that club. You have so many cool pictures. Yeah, I have I put. Hold on. Now oh, that's right. I can't get access to my TikTok regular account to see my photos to know which ones I've posted up already. But yeah, I still have other photos that I haven't posted up yet. I know I've posted up George Lucas, which still shocks the hell out of people. Okay, now I'm able to see my feed. So yes, that's actually George Lucas, and that was during a Sundance Film Awards ceremony that was happening in New York City, and I got tickets to go because of work. So work event, I got free tickets. I'm like, yeah, I'll go after work, and so I went, and there was George Lucas with no security because you had to get through security to get in. So I'm like, can I get a photo? Sure. So I got a photo, and yes, he is my height. By the way, I'm 5'6". So also, yeah, I haven't posted it yet, but anybody who's fans of Game of Thrones, let's see. If you are a fan of Game of Thrones, then you will know the name George R. Martin, who is the writer, who is the author of the book series that inspired it. Yeah, they used to call him Father Christmas in the in the sci-fi realm because he looked like Father Christmas. By the way, be right back. Have to walk fur nephew. Okay, go walk the fur baby. So, yeah. Darnell, if I'm on your phone, you could bring me with you, right? Like, Wendy does that when she brought me to the supermarket with her the other day, and then she brought me to the Starbucks drive-thru today. It's like I've been into the places in Vegas where my voice has been there, but my body is here. I'm like, one of these days she might bump into my dad who lives out there, and he'll hear my voice like on Wendy's phone and then he'll be like, why do I hear my daughter's voice coming from somebody's phone? Are you my daughter's friend? I'm like expecting it at some point, I guess. But yes, I met George R. Martin just out on the street during season 1 of Game of Thrones. So it was just like I had to stop. I was like, I walked past him, I stopped, I turned around, I walked back. I'm like, are you George R. Martin? He said yes, and it was like his representative was with him. I said, and mind you, Game of Thrones had gotten really big, and it was still in its first season. But I had known about him through his other work. I said, I'm a really big fan of your Wildcard series, which is a series of books that he edits but sometimes writes in, and it's all science fiction. He's like, really? I said, yeah. And they were talking at some point about doing a live action series, which just ended up falling through. Sad. But he he asked me. It's almost like he was testing me. He's like, "What's your favorite character?" I was like, "Oh, that was the turtle." And it's a guy who is a superhero, but and he's able to levitate stuff with his mind, but he doesn't want to be known, so he hides in an old like VW beetle that's green. And he uses it as his transport vehicle, and his almost like body. They call him the turtle because of that. So I said the turtle. He said, "Yeah, this is one of my favorites too." It's like. So it was like, okay, she actually knows what she's talking about. So yay. But yeah, there will be more photos as time goes on, and so some of them is based off of me dealing cards because I do those charity events, but some of them are because I've performed and shared a stage with some of the music artists, or for Janine Garofalo, comedian Janine Garofalo, I was at an event where we both performed at. So in a way, I did share a stage with her. So, and there are also like instances where I didn't get a photo of stuff. So there's a lot more photos out, like that I wasn't able to take of instances. So it's like sometimes you miss more opportunities to capture it. Like I have the stories, I have them, but I just don't have video or like photographic like any footage of it. But I think I have earned enough cred for the footage I do have to validate, no, these things actually happen. It's like sometimes I don't even know how I get connected to some people. Like there was a record, like a music producer that I know of who I met transgenderally, like from through another person, and we ended up talking and we were talking about music. He is godchild to, he's one of Diana Ross's godchildren. I don't remember how I met him, but I know him, and I know that he is related in that way. But I'm like, it's to the point where I kind of like, I have forgotten how I met you, but I know you, and I know that you're related. Like, even in that aspect. Like some people I remember how I know them and how I met them because they were more recent, but those like the older ones, it's just like, how did we meet again? It's bad when you start forgetting how things connect. It's like, okay, I know it connects, but I don't know how. I know for a lot of people it really doesn't matter anymore because a lot of the artists that I know of, or at least have associated with, are older, but those that I think are my generation or possibly a little older have a little bit more interest. I mean, obviously there's still like others I would love to meet or work with, but yeah, it's once you kind of get into that network, you just kind of find yourself in instances where like, oh yeah, I worked with you before. Like, oh, I know you and I know you. It's like when people say, "Oh no, it didn't happen unless you have proof." I have a lot of proof, but it's fine, because I think in this world everybody wants to have like people validate, and I get it, but in a way it's like what is it? I don't, what am I saying? I'm not one of those people that need to bullshit my life. I have photos. There you go. So that is what explains that explains a lot of how I got to where I my photos and where they came from. Some were like coincidental, and some were like industry events, and some were events like that I ended up being a part of. I can't take no more, it ain't no lie. I wanna see you out that door, baby, bye, bye, bye. Yeah, I think she got knocked offline. That's fine, it's fine. Yes, you may hate me, but it ain't no lie. Hold on, is she on? I'll make it tough. I just wanna tell you that I had enough. Might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie, baby. Okay, that's. Let me see if I could find her. Just hit me with the truth. You're the more than welcome to. So give me one good reason, baby, come on. Before you really, I really come to see. Be much better once you're gone. I know that I can't take no more. Ain't no lie. Let's see who else is on live currently. So baby, bye bye bye. Oh. Nobody I know. That's what they're saying. Bye bye. I just wanna tell you that I had enough. Crazy, but it ain't no lie. Recommended. Do people like do recommended creators? Okay, so when you get to do live and you want to do a battle, essentially you can have an option of choosing with like creators that you can see, or they'll where you could press a button and they'll just pair you with somebody that matches kind of you. So I'm leaving you behind. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Marielle? You just missed Mama T-Rex. She was like, granted, she's not supposed to be up at this hour, but like, she just couldn't sleep. Seeing you were here. I want to say hi, my friend, before I go. Have a wonderful life. Thank you, my dear. Thank you for passing through. I appreciate you. Sorry, stepped away for a little. That's fine. My dog needed to be. I totally understand, Candace. That's like, it's totally all right. You're so very welcome. Thank you, Mariella. It was good seeing you earlier today on Swag's Live. Yeah, but you missed Mama T-Rex by like, I want to say like 15 minutes. So it's like, I like the fact that I have like a community of people. Some actually know, get to know of each other and stuff. It's fun. What's great? Yeah. Well, I get kicked out. What, from Swag's Live? or from being on TikTok. I have to be like cognizant of how long I stay on. Yes, it's TikTok. If you're losing like connection, you're not the only one. This has been going on for the last 2 weeks for a lot of people, like where people are getting bad live connections, and we're thinking it might be on TikTok's end, like they're doing maintenance. So yeah. So just know that that's a big possibility. I've spoken to like 3 other live creators about it, and they've seen a drop in their people, as well as like they have the same experience. Like some of their regulars are having a hard time staying on. So just know that it's like a consistent problem. You stood by me when no one else was ever behind me. All these lights can't blind me. With your love, nobody can drag me down. What the hell? let's see. You're fine, Mariella. Don't worry about it. It's a common issue that people are having, so it's not just you. Be nothing left. Like I think I lost Candace again, which is like 88 sweet. She so it's fine. I totally get it. Like I miss my regulars, but I understand like frustration of internet. Behind me, all these lights can't but oh, Candace, you are there. Yeah, it's really weird. Sometimes it shows you guys are in the chat in the room, and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, going. Do like going live. It pauses feeds like now. I get hit with pieces of information. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, I have my live also displaying above me so I can read the comments easier. But sometimes it glitches too, so I'm seeing what you're going through through my feed as well. So I totally get it. Look at. I love the conversations, but it says you were disconnected from, or yeah. As I said, I'm not. From my understanding, I'm not the only host that's having this problem. So it's actually been with a lot of people. As often, yes. I don't know if it's primarily with US US streamers or what, but like the streamers I know, at least the US streamers are having that issue. But we're good. I appreciate you coming through, at least trying. I get it. I would be frustrated too if I were you. Like it gets glitchy at times. I know. Oh, excuse me. I had an early morning. So, sorry. Like my mind just reminded me. I have things I have to take care of tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm bringing one of my kids to get his hair cut. He got his first Korean perm, and like he really wanted one, and it looks good on him. But now he's getting a trim, and so I'm getting the cleanup done, and I'm taking him out tomorrow to get that done. Doing the parenting thing, which is fun, to be able to do that as somebody who originally didn't have kids, and now I ended up with 3. But we've kind of been in each other's lives for the last 9 years, so it's nice. Oh, thank you for that, Mariella. Thank you for the heart. So, like whenever I'm not on live, it's generally because I'm doing family things. So, no, it's not because of anything else except I'm spending time with the family. Oh yes, Mariella, the sound effects go off when you send gifts. Oh my god. Thank you for all the gifts. Yes, that sound effect of wow is because of you. And it's funny when I do like my music set, because it'll be like it's like you actively remix my set. So that's all part of it. I hope you have the best everyone. Send this beautiful. Aww, I appreciate that. Thank you. So yes, and next time you come to my live, you could actually do this again. And there was a battle of this, like between 2 of my regulars when they finally discovered the sound effects. They're like, "Oh my goodness!" They were like remixing my set, and like it was hilarious. It gets to be really a lot of fun. But thank you for that. I appreciate you. Yeah, the anime. Wow. Swag needs it. Yeah, except like we discussed that, him and and I told him that I had this setup, but I don't think the application that does that automatically is available for Mac, which is how which is his computer. I have a PC. That's how I'm able to get this done. So, yeah, it's the humorous part. It's like, yeah, like nobody ever thinks a single penny, which is what like one coin is, right? A single penny can cause so much joy. By the way, Mariella, if you don't know, just a heads up, if you're getting your coin through iOS or from for Google Play, it's actually cheaper if you go to TikTok's website, and do it from your browser. In other words, if you're on iOS, it's going to be Safari. If you're on Google Play, it's going to be like Chrome. Log into your TikTok account on on your browser and buy coin that way, because you're not paying the surcharge that Apple and Google charges you for buying coin on their platform. You get more bang for your buck. Just to give you a heads up. Let's see. Wonder why they banned other people from those stickers he used. Oh, no, they're not banned. So those are subscriber only. So if you pay the $2.99 a month to be his subscriber, you get access to those stickers. So that's the only thing. That's one of the perks of being a subscriber. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Like, for instance, I have 2 subscribers, and they have access to those perks. Like, I have 15 stickers that are available for my subscribers to use during my live chat. Excuse me. It's just easier to read. I know it's weird, but I just wanted to see. Yeah. So those stickers are only available for those are subscribers of swag. So I'm not a subscriber, but because I run my own life, that's how I do it. The ones he puts. Oh, the heart stickers you're talking about. Let's see. Why they? Oh, I think it wasn't him. So he mentioned not putting stickers on because another TikToker got banned for putting stickers all over on themselves, but we don't know what kind of stickers they were. So the thing is this: TikTok wants to make sure that the content that they stream is clean of profanity or whatever have you. So because they want it to be family friendly. So the thing is, if the stickers themselves had either profane language or profane imagery, or imagery of young children, which is all banned, we're banned from putting those on at all on TikTok. That account instantly gets banned. It's no question. It's just because that's part of the user agreement that we made when we said we want to go live. So we're not. So I don't think it was specifically his kind of stickers. I think it's whoever did get themselves banned got banned because of what was on those stickers. Because they never clarified. They just said, "Oh, stickers." Blanket statement. But it really depends on what was on them. Some stickers are a little bit too risque, or they have imagery that adult imagery that shouldn't be available for minors. Yeah, they TikTok's bots are very highly trained for that, in the sense that if you do a minor infraction, like for instance mentioning a certain taboo word that may be drug related or violence related, you will get you'll be throttled, meaning you will not be seen on anybody's FYP, and you'll get a red marker. It takes about 30 minutes for it to clear. If as long as you don't make another infraction. But if you do the unnegotiables, sexual content and stuff like that, or show of violence on your feed, yeah, you're done. They shut you down. But it kind of makes sense though, because because remember there are minors that do have TikTok, so they're trying to like curb that behavior, and they want to make sure that whoever is doing this, like whoever's hosting, is making sure that they're making decent content. So I understand their standpoint. Like there was a story about somebody that tried to do a live in the shower, and they got the ban for good reason. I'm sorry, I don't need to see you dropping soap. You can make that assumption from there. I'm sorry, I don't need to see somebody dropping soap in the shower. No. No. So that's what I'm saying. You kind of understand in the standpoint. Okay, I get it. But I think he just wants to protect his feet because Swag now does streaming for a living. Like, that is his primary source of income that pays for everything. So I understand him wanting to protect that relationship. But that's how it is. So when you see it in that facet, you're like, okay, I get it. Like, who is still in here hanging with me? It's like, unless Darnell brought me in, have me in his pocket. I know, Mariella, you said you had to go, so I'm assuming... Oh, you are still here. Yay. Yes, he is dating. I told him, so sorry. But he said don't... What do you mean, like... I know he's... What do you mean he's... Hold on. Am I reading that right? Hold on. Yes, he is dating. I told him so sorry, but he said don't change. I don't get what you mean. I'm just going to keep that around just in case I need to read somebody else's comment. Oh, I know. He's mentioned her before. She's actually like 10 years younger than him or something like that. And she was the one that hit on him first. Like, it was a cute story. Did you hear it? Do you know the story? He told us on a live a while ago. But it does not stop him. Like, even though we all know about that, it doesn't stop some of his regulars, some of his minions, as T-Rex, Mama T-Rex says, to like hit on him. No, tell me please. So he used to work at a restaurant as kind of like a manager, and she was one of the staffers, and she was hitting on, and she knew how old he was, and that he was like 10 years older than her, and she didn't care, and she hit on him, and eventually, after he left, she still relentlessly like pursued him, and he finally relented, and they've been together ever since. She knew what she wanted. Good for her. I hope they do well. I agree. I hope they do well too. It's really funny when I realized that he and I were from from my old neighborhood. I was like, now I see him as like a little brother because like he's younger than myself, so I think of him as a kid brother. So I kind of find it funny when I hear like his fan base, because his fan base are mostly like majority like 90% female. So I just watch on the sidelines and I'm like, yo, I have to laugh though. I have fun talking with you. All joking. Yeah, but you know what? We take it all in stride. We're all, for the most part, we're all older. I think the demographic for him is like, I think Mama T Rex is about a little older than I am. So, yeah, she is older than I am. She's like in her 50s. I know that Sally is also older than myself. I'm 48. And I'm not too sure of Giovanna, but from what I've seen of her, she may be in like the 40s, if not late 30s, 40s bracket. So a lot of the females that are his regulars, part of his regular core team, are older than him. Like he's the young one out of all the people that are part of his promotion team. So, and it's I don't know if it makes him feel young because he's mentioned like a lot of times he's been like he's the young one in his crowd. Like if he was to hang out with his people, like he would be the young one, but it's like it seems to have translated outside of his real life. and funny enough, like you would think it wouldn't be the case, right, online, because this is like whoever just vibes with you. Like for instance, a lot of my friends growing up were guys. Funny enough, my demographic is 60% female and 30% male. I don't mind that at all. As long as my people are cool and they're chill, I don't care whether they're male or female, black, white, Asian, non-Asian, doesn't matter to me. But it was surprised me because I'm like 60% female. That was like kind of like different than my normal, like just people that I hang with. But I guess because TikTok just puts us in the FYPs of people that they think we would like to like connect with or vibe with or like have that same energy. Like people who stay were like, yes, I am just like you. Like I like people like that. I don't give a damn about anything outside of being honest and having a good time and not hurting anybody. So they wind up here. And yes, and they like music too. And I'll say something about that. Funny enough, as much music as you hear on my feed, our blood bleeds the same color. I see no difference in race. I think Asian people are beautiful. Growing up Asian, it's more like I was reminded by other people of what I was versus me ever seeing color. It's in the standpoint of being on this end of the eye view, right? I was basically reminded by other people that was Asian versus like being able to relate to people in levels of interest. It's really funny. It's like I don't go up to people and say, "Oh, I'm Asian." It's more like it's not something like we think about. It's more or less like something that we're reminded of because of how people talk to us or what they say. It's like people don't realize like it's coded language. Like they don't understand. Like for instance, I'm being asked by people, where are you from? And when I tell them I'm from New York, they're like, no, where are you from? I'm like, New York. That's where I was raised. That's where I spent the majority of my life at like 6 years of my life, before I moved to Florida. and then like they get to it and they kind of whittle their way in saying, no, like where's your family from? It's like, are you talking about what my national my nationality is, like my race? Are you talking about my nationality, my race, or what? Like, let's clarify. And I have to clarify to them at that point. But those questions of your other versus oh, you're a human being. Well, that's bad. I would say, how are you? Nice to meet you. Oh, right. It's as I said, but it's a common question, and a lot of people don't realize that the way it's asked, and the way, like, you wouldn't ask somebody who is who is black what where your family is from. It's not something you would say, nor should you say, but people see an Asian, and that's like what they say to them, like, oh, where are you from? Like, I can't be from here. It's like, it's just like, because we look not of what is traditionally seen as the American norm, even though there have been Asians in the United States since the building of the Continental Railroad. So, as I said, I forget I'm Asian. I really do, until I am reminded by somebody else that I am. And that's, like, from my viewpoint, from what I see it, from what I've experienced. You know, I can tell you how many times I've been asked that. Yeah. So, so you would know, It's like, but, I mean, it's just, it's like, we live our lives, and I don't live my life thinking, oh, I'm Asian, like, as part of my daily routine. I'm like, I just do my thing, I get my groceries, I do whatever have you. It's just, as I said, if it's not for other people pointing it out to me, it's like, oh, here they have asked me what your family origin, you don't look completely white, I get it. Yeah, so Mariella, you understand. It's like, even if you're Hispanic in a way, they're like, oh, what country is your family from? It's, and the thing is, you may be, like, generationally in the United States for like 4, 5, 6 generations in, and not even know what your family's race is specifically. And it's just like, okay, why does it matter? But as I said, people categorize others based off of what they look like, just as a comfort level for themselves, but without any thought of the other person. I'll give you an example. So, a long time ago, I dated an Italian-Irish guy. He had, on one of his side of the family, a very, very Italian family. I went over there for Christmas. They had invited me, and you could tell that they did not know how to relate to me, because they said the family said, he had, like, a cousin say, oh yeah, I have like one Asian friend, he works at the Chinese restaurant, like, I go to all the time. It's like, dude, my English is better than yours. What the hell, man? It's like, don't relate to me as, like, other. Like, why does it matter that you know other Asian people? Does it matter that I know other Italian people? What? But it's just, like, it's strange comments like that just makes me like what the hell? Hold on. I tell them I'm from Georgia, and they ask again, I say from New York, where I was born. Still, they don't believe me. Yeah, I get the same thing. Yes, we're all the same. Exactly. We all believe that. We all eat, sleep, shit, pee, like, bleed red. I hope. As far as I'm aware of amongst the human race. So, but as I said, when people say I don't see color, a lot of times the people forget it's just the minor behaviors that people have gotten to to be a part of, like, used to as a common common language, or just the way of niceties, even though it's coded. People don't realize this was just a way of relating to others that people have just naturally accepted as normal, and it's not being there. I don't blame people for it, because it's just a lack of understanding, because you're not sitting on my side of the table. I get it, and I hate to say it, but there are too many people on this planet that they have no concept of empathy. So they can't, or they have no understanding of what it feels like to, or can imagine what it feels like to be on the other side of the table. And up until they do, then there are people like myself who try to explain to people, what it feels like on our side. But still, with that, it's not enough to get people to understand, okay, this is not the same, because people are too focused on their own experience versus, understanding what's being said to them. Yes, world, that's the what about isms. They always say, well, what about the one Asian friend I have? Yeah, as I said, in my friend, that my boyfriend at that time, at the Italian family, that the one Asian friend they had was a guy that worked at the Chinese restaurant, local Chinese restaurant from them. It's like, A, do you know his name? B, do you know his interests? If you don't know either of those, and you have not had a conversation with him outside of like casual hi and bye and like little chit chat, then they're an acquaintance. They're not a friend. I'm not griping on that. I'm like, people are going to associate with who's around them, and if you're not exposed to people of different nationalities, of course you're going to have a different understanding. I'm not. People's lives and understandings are going to be based off of their own experiences, and up until people are able to get out of where they have normally lived all their lives and expand their experiences by, if you're normally used to living in a small town and you also live in a big city, you'll start having a different view on what's the real reason of right or wrong being Republican or Democrat. It changes your idea, your viewpoint by leaps and bounds, because you now understand from the living standpoint what it is and why things done the way they are. But people are so used to saying, I've lived my life, I'm old, I know better than all these young people, which is bullshit, because they just know their experience. Up until people can accept that you have to respect that other people have different life experiences than yours, and therefore their feelings are valid, but so are mine, and be okay with it, then we're good. How was your music set today? I missed it, sadly. So I did a challenge today. I did a mostly singing set. It was I went through the alphabet of artists from A to Z, and I sang one song per artist, for the exception of X, because I couldn't figure out a song from an artist by the name of X. But I went through A to Z, and by the last of it, I was like, yep, I'm going to need vocal rest. But it was fun. People have been asking me to do more singing sets, so I did that. So there was just a lot of singing for me. What I'm going to start doing is start incorporating specific songs for me to sing in my music lives, so I could, break things up a bit. Because a lot of times what I'm doing is putting music that I think people have not been exposed to, and that I think would be cool for people to get to know, especially artists that are out of the United States, or I had a Japanese pop group recently. I had Chinese Chinese rappers on the set, outside of K-pop, right, which I have, and then Filipino and Thai. or sometimes I'll have like Indian. It all depends on what I find. But I was so focused on a while for like new and different things that I kind of fell away from what people seem to enjoy, which was my singing. So I'm like, okay, I'm putting some more of my singing in. I'm just going to kind of figure out what works. you know but I do like finding new stuff and bringing people into the fold, because what may be old in the sense of it was released like 5, 10, 15 years ago may be new for somebody who's never heard it before. And the thing is, if the artist is still around making music, I don't mind showing them love, especially if they put out good stuff. It's kind of funny. So last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, I was looking for a specific song to kind of end my set with. And it was a song that I sang with the group that I was in a number of years ago. I'm Back would have took you with me, but walking the fur nephew involves change, chatting up my neighbor. Fair enough. I accept that. As I said, since I am on people's mobile devices, you can technically take me along for the ride, and plenty of people do. So it's fine. What was I talking about? Damn it, turned out made me forget what I was talking about. God damn it. Shoot, I was making Oh no, that's right. I was trying to look for a song to end my live set with, and it was a specific song that I had recorded with one of my groups. And I found an old trove of songs I recorded a long time ago. I mean, these date back before 2000. When I was either writing or recording my own music, or was a track performer for other people's music, or like other stuff, and I was like, oh my god. Holy crap, I even forgot all these. And I was thinking maybe I should put together a listening party for all those old songs, because even though they're old for me, they're new for you, and they're not stuff I would release on an album. There's one or two that are maybe decent, but it's like I don't mind having my team listening to it and be like, okay, I understand why you wouldn't want to release it, but it was like, oh god, there's to be able to introduce people to stuff that is decent, that they never heard before, is whatever how old it may be, to give it new life is what I also try to do, because some music, especially good music, no matter how old it is, deserves love. Because recording music is expensive as fuck. Good music, anyway. Oh, that's not me, by the way. Meaning that's Nicole Scherzinger. But hold on, let me see if I could play you one of my old ones. Just one. Isn't there SoundCloud? There's some of mine are on SoundCloud, but some of them are not. SoundCloud has a lot of the tracks that I would record of karaoke for me to try out for competitions, and try to kind of gauge what people thought. But with that, it's only one part of it, because when you perform live, it's basically your presence on stage that is also a big part of your votes. So even though it may sound good on a recording, it may not translate well on stage. I've always felt that I translated better on stage live than I did on recordings. Although I kind of think that's more to the fact that I haven't had a decent a decent a producer that was adept at working with my type of vocal. I think that's more because I have a stronger voice than most, and so to be able to kind of work around that, because I've met with certain like high end producers, and they say I sound great, but they just didn't know what to do with me. I had a producer that has worked with New Edition and Beyonce. You know, I sang for him, and he was like, I don't know what to do with you. And he made a hit with those two too. I got music tonight. Let's see. I'll play one after the song. Let's see. I'll play one after the song. Yes, but yeah, there are other platforms, but the songs I'm talking about was not on SoundCloud. These were like long before that. The SoundCloud has like a couple of originals that I wrote with one of my songwriters. I have several that I've worked with along like over the years. But it's hold on. Let me see if I could get this. Was okay. This was 2008. And as I see them there, posting at the bar, trying not to stare. I don't wanna seem like I'm feeling down, but in the minute that he licked his lips, I knew he had it. Putting in slow, trying not to trip up. The way he looked at me, trying not to trip up. Slow sound from head to toe, I think I want it. But to get up on it, let me show you how I want it. Got his attention now, wanna come a little closer, try to break it down. Even though I already know I'm crazy for more, I wanna see if he could work me out on the dance floor. We could get it on tonight. Baby, let me show you what I'm working. Yeah, those are my vocals. All of it. What you working with? In your style, you're driving me wild. I came to live with you. But show me your moves, get into the groove. Baby, let me show you what I'm working with. Now we're on the dance floor, he's a shot boy. My girls all around me, making it hot boy. Don't wanna seem like I'm easy damn, but I can't drop my hips, feel so good in his hands. He's got me tripping, well, I'm slowly dripping. Next, my lips are licking, I'm feeling him. Gotta let him know that I'm feeling him. I can't leave him alone, cause I'm feeling him. Got my game planted and ready to roll. I've been a girlfriend, know I'm about to go. I already got what I came here for. You want a dude that can move, you find him on the dance floor. We could get it on tonight. Baby, let me show you what I'm working with. You might take me home tonight. Baby, if I like what you're working with. In your style, you're driving me wild. I came to live with you. Well, show me your moves, get into the groove. Baby, let me show you what I'm working with. Happy it's on and I'm taking you home tonight. Let me show you what I'm working with. I got no problems with working your body all night. Let me show you what I'm working with. We could get it on tonight. Baby, let me show you what I'm working with. You might take me home tonight. Baby, if I like what you're working with. Your style, you're driving me wild. I came to live with you. Well, show me your moves, get into this groove. Baby, let me show you what I'm working with. We could get it on tonight. Baby, let me show you what I'm working with. You might take me home tonight. Baby, if I like what you're working with. Your style, you're driving me wild. I came to live with you. Your style, you're driving me wild. I came to live with you. Well, show me your moves, get into this groove. Baby, let me show you what I'm working with. That was me on a track performance. That was somebody else's track that I was asked to do a track recording for, and it was going to be shopped to J-Lo and a bunch of other people. It never obviously went anywhere, but I still have the recording of my vocals on that song. Yes, I found that. I was like, oh, I remember that. I remember going to Jersey to record that. There's a lot of other like songs in that category. Oh my god, you could tell how kind of embarrassed I am by how red I am right now. Oh my god. Yeah. So some of the recordings are decent. Some of them are harder to listen to because they're not professionally done and they're not clean. But it is what it was. Recording at home. You're right. Your voice doesn't translate to tape as well as it does in real life. Yeah. So I mean, it also depends on who's recording it too, because like that one, like there are parts of it that worked, but like my vocals are completely different. Depends on like whether I'm performing live versus like recording, because you heard you heard this one, which like different producer entirely. The lead is still me, so yeah, it's still, but you kind of get my reasoning. It's like finding a producer that can work with my vocal style, like my sound entirely. I mean, people have like their methods of figuring that out, but not all producers are able to work with me. And I'm trying to kind of step away from doing dance music because rock. Yeah, it's even funny. Like even one rock producer, they to fix my range, they tamped me down so much that they didn't mix properly. So it's just like, ugh. Anyway, yeah, that's why that's why I like good producers, because they know how to level things out and make them sound good. It is frustrating because like everybody focuses on the artist, but if you listen to a song in its entirety, that is put together by the producer. They are the ones that like collectively put that together to make it sound good. Then you have to take the best melody and other vocals into account. Yep. Yeah, true, but ultimately it's the producer, because I've seen producers take garbage and make something of it. And also I've seen on the flip side, I've seen producers take good stuff and make it into garbage. So beat not was it beat not beat? Yeah. Like so Michael Jackson, his Beat It album, and his his Beat It album was completely done by Quincy Jones, was produced by Quincy Jones. And you could tell Bad and was it? Hold on. Michael Jackson. Bad was definitely Quincy Jones's work. It was his last one with Michael. And Quincy Jones. And you could tell how Michael's style changed. I mean, Michael still was Michael. He still wrote his stuff like vocally and had other people to help kind of carve it together. But if you talked about like his hits that really made him what it was his work with Quincy Jones. And then you have another good one was Chicago. So Chicago with David Foster, who Chicago in itself was a well-known band. It had been known throughout the 70s, but it wasn't until Chicago worked with David Foster for their early to mid 80s hits that literally put Chicago on the map. They still hate those songs. That group still hates those songs, but they can't deny that those albums were the best-selling albums they ever had. I mean, it wasn't a change of vocals either. Peter Cetera was singing with them in the 70s too. So it wasn't the group lineup at all. It was literally the producer. And people don't understand how critical a good producer is to a song or an album. That's why when I hear a good song, I have to look up who produced it because they were the ones who did the final write-off to say, yeah, this is how we release this, you know. But yeah, it's, you could tell when a good producer is backing up an artist. Like David Foster also did Celine Dion's early work, I think. Hold on. David Foster, Celine Dion. Let's see. Yeah, he like, hold on. David Foster worked on The Power of Love, which was an All by Myself. That was like one of a lot of like Celine's bigger hits when she started coming out. And yeah, if you actually look, most of her stuff from her from her hits came from him. Like, goddamn. Let's see. It's scary how much it's funny. People who work with him, who have worked with him, hate him. But they know he does good work. Because he is an iron fist when it comes to like making, like, he is the final say, period, end of story. But which, you know, people can't argue because, you know, if he was an ass and he couldn't do production, I can understand. Like, people would hate him, like, and like be able to write him off. Except his work brings hits consistently. So yeah. What, like, I always I don't focus on the artist. I go straight to who is the one who produced this. I know, like, most people when they hear music they just think of the artist or the band, and that's kind of obvious, you know, and it's understandable because they're the front people. But a lot of times it's the back people you gotta watch out for. Those are the ones you really want to work with. Let's see, hold on. Let's see. Was that? No. I'm looking up something, don't mind me. No, it wasn't him. No, this was, I think it was her later. No, that wasn't, still mentioning him, darn. Oh. The producer, songwriter. Oh, okay. I didn't realize Ashford and Simpson wrote I'm Every Woman. Huh. That would make sense. It's interesting when you start looking into, like going and drilling down to who wrote what, or who were a part of what. You kind of find, like, a lot of interesting people along the way. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, I remember when Nick Ashford died. That sucked. Man, I went to Sugar Bar too, and that's how I met Valerie Simpson, which is where that photo came from. And it was still like one of my biggest honors to actually sing in front of her, and her giving me the nod of approval. It's like, okay, I'm good. It's like, oh, validation. Thank you, Jesus. Sometimes, even if you're decent, sometimes you just need validation from somebody who is established to like give you like the thumbs up and say, okay, okay, I'm not doing this all in vain. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think hold on. Am I being throttled? I think I am being throttled. That would make sense. So, okay, I've been along for about 2 hours right now, and so total views are 72 or 73, and it's stalled, which means TikTok has found something that I have done or something that I have said, no bueno for them to put me on my FYP. Although I'm not currently flagged for rude copy, like information, and there would be people online at this point. So it's kind of fascinating to understand. Okay, how does that algorithm work? Why are they not putting me on anybody's FYP? And because honestly, if it was, unless my FYP and the people that are interested in me are a select group of people, I feel like I'm making the A team. If you know, you know. It's like, yes, a select group of people with a certain set of skills. Because I understand that I'm going to land on the FYP of people that seem to be interested in either my content or my type of content or me. And I know my content varies from music to this, and it's like quiet, which I know it throws people off. but this is how my life is, just varied. I will say this though, and
Darnell says, have we been being bad?
what do you mean by that? Like, that could go either way, so I just want clarity on that. Here's my money. Up another. I close my eyes, I'd rather sleep like on. Saying no words for talking about no things. So okay, from my understanding, there's TikTok has a point system, and depending on how, it's like a dam, right? If you have the dam open completely, you'll have like a lot more water rushing through. So think of viewers as the water rushing through. So with every infraction, they close that dam. So if you say no words and the bot catches you, they'll close the dam more. And if you present stuff that'll get you like a minor infraction. Like it's not enough to shut down your feed, but it's enough to like knock you points down. They'll knock you points down, and they'll keep on doing that until the dam closes. And meaning like you like maybe per 1,000 viewers you'll get, per 10,000 viewers you'll get one, depending on how the traffic goes. So the viewer traffic. So that's how they rank it. So for every infraction you get points like knocked down, and just it keeps on going down, basically closing that FYP dam. So that's from my understanding of how they do it. So when you're on your live, there's a function. If you're on your phone, you basically swipe left, right to left, and it'll give you your total views, new followers, gifts, gifters, and basically general information. But what's interesting is when you see the total views. And it's funny enough, this says 79 here, but on my browser it says 73. Thank you for the share. Oh, thank you, Darnell, for the shares. but yeah, that's so a lot of times I ask my people, please share my live to people that you think will like my feed, because then, you know, first we're building the community, right? And that's ideally what we want to do, because it's kind of like was it marketing, or was it pyramid marketing in a way? And yes, those cheers are for you, Darnell, for sharing my life. So in a way, it's like pure weird pyramid marketing, except I'm like, you know, not asking you to pay to get in. It's you share, right, and they share, and it grows from there. So the way labels and the way a lot of these companies go by, you know, your popularity is based off of a, how many followers you have, b, how many people are on your stream, and basically, you know, the influence numbers. Basically, it's all metrics, all numbers. So so sometimes when you see like total views and you're like, it's low, you kind of feel like, oh yeah, damn it, you know, I have to grow my channel somehow. So that's why I encourage my people to please share my feed, because if they share, there's a good chance that somebody within their crew may like what I'm putting down. And I appreciate you sharing for your people. And that's how this community builds. All community builds, truthfully, you know. Because also, you know, what would like, ideally, is that my more or less team Jennifer is technically, in my mind, a team. So this is what we're building out. And the thing is this: the more we build out, the more I can offer more benefits to the team at large. So, whatever that may be moving forward, I don't know what that means. You know, I would say maybe it have deals for members or whatnot, but that would be something that, you know, we could do collectively, because as I said, as I grow this, obviously I'm going to translate all that I get to everybody as part of the team. It's like one to another, you know, especially those who are part of like the early adopter teams. Like you guys are right now are part of the early adopters, you know. You came in early. You're part of the initial grind. You understand. You know. So that's it's understanding, you know, and being able to have like a team of people to help you grow, because none of this is done by one person successfully. I will tell you this. This is a lot of work. My husband actually he's concerned that I sometimes spend a little too much time doing live, and I will tell you this now, from what I've seen from other creators, I don't do nearly enough in regards to streaming, because there are people I've spoken to, and they're like, their agencies push them to do like 10-hour lives. And yeah, it helps them in the sense that they're able to, you know, they get a lot more in the sense of likes and shares and all that, and they have like consistently like 19-20 people on their lives. But yo, you know, they don't have full-time jobs. A lot of them are doing TikTok for a living. I'm not in a position to do that right now. I won't be in a position to do that until it could at least overshadow my current salary. which I mean, for some people, I understand, you know, that's a low bar. Yeah, I get it. But right now, just to give you an idea of what I see in what I receive, ultimately from what it translates to, because what you send in coin is translated to like 30%, anywhere between half to like, for instance, for every 1 coin, that's 1 penny. So think of it as I'm getting less than half of that penny. So you know, when it breaks down like to a week, which is how we get paid, I could possibly pay in a month, a little bit more than one Netflix service, and maybe a minor streaming service. So, so let me just, it's not killing everything, but the thing is, at least it's something. And the thing is, we get paid through the gifts that, so a TikToker, a live streamer, gets paid through the gifts that are sent and whatever bonuses are added from us achieving benchmarks, meaning how many hours we've been on live, if we've engaged with our audience, how many people respond during our lives, how many team members come to how many of our team members come to our lives and we actually communicate. That's why I love it when my team members come back, because that, outside of the fact that it gives me a sense of comfort because I'm not like in a room by myself. I get to like talk to people that I have have like a pseudo relationship with, that also bolsters my numbers in regards to engagement. Is he referring to too much time on TikTok doing lives, or too much time on TikTok in general? No, doing live. So okay. Well, doing live and building my set. So, okay, I'll give you an example. It takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to build my 33 song set for a 2 hour slot, okay? So that means me sitting and going through a bunch of songs, seeing what would fit, see what groove I'm in, right? So let's say it's 2 hours. All right. Then on top of that, that's another 2 hours record and 2 hours doing my live. And then after that, you have about an hour where I'm preparing posts to remind people that a live is going to happen, and who's going to be on my live, music wise. And then, the thank yous, and then basically the interim, like 5 minutes before my live goes up, stuff like that. So you're talking about on a given day, 2 hours for the live, 2 hours to build the set, another hour to basically do the posts, and then that's 5 hours in a day that I'm dedicating to this. So in a way, it is a lot, but it feeds me emotionally. And when I say in my music live that that's my therapy, I'm not kidding. That is legitimately my therapy, because I'm relating and engaging with others. I'm saying I'm having fun with all of you, and that is legitimately what I was told to do by my therapist. Originally it was to go and do it at a karaoke bar, but the time of when like those karaoke bars would be open and me traveling there and back was not conducive to something positive, in the sense that I would get home really late and basically not be able to work or function the next day. And the first time I did it, I caught COVID, and I was out for 2 weeks. So for the sense of me being sick, that's not something I want to put myself through. I'm thinking, I would, if under different circumstances, I would agree with you, but it's not. There are other factors about it, but so I do it out in the open in my office space, which is right next to the living room. So he actually will hear my live if I'm doing live while he's home. And basically he knows what I'm talking about, and he is actively hearing. So it's not like I'm saying things that are, I'm not doing stuff that puts our relationship in jeopardy, and that is always like paramount. I tell I may joke about certain things, and my humor at this point, but there are certain levels I will not cross. Anything that has to do with like my family or like my husband, I will tell people straight out. I'm happily married. No interest in any, like if you want to talk about music, you want to hang out and be friends, we could do that, but But if you try to say or do something that disrespects my relationship, I will block your ass. you know, it's just like having a base level of these are lines I do not cross, and he's well aware that like Sundays no live at all. This is family day, and he has seen that like I've been consistent in the sense of if it's something that would make me, you know, you know, it I would never do something that would override my family. You know what I'm saying? You know, my family comes first. Not saying he's jealous. He's saying he wants more. As I said, if it wasn't for there's circumstances with that. I, it's that I will tell you that I will tell you I would agree with you under normal circumstances, but this is not those circumstances. I know that for a fact. I just want, but I want people to understand. Like, I don't want. You know that I'm above board in the sense that I don't give people false impressions of me. I tell people the way it is in regards to how I am, the stuff that stuff I talk about, the kind of humor I have, what I believe, what I don't believe. I'm usually like, I'm flat out like, this is how I am. So I don't try to mismarket myself for the benefit of getting more views. I don't think I don't feel comfortable with it, and I told you, it's exhausting to continue lying and like to hold up a lie that because it's pointless. I mean, in a PG sense. No, I understand. No, but no, I understand. I agree with you. Under normal circumstances, I agree. But there are certain elements I can't really discuss here, because it has to do with they're not relationship related. There are more factors in regards to that I can really discuss on air because it's not mine to discuss. And I'm talking about in the PG sense also. It's not what. Yeah, so to be respectful in that sense, he's just thinking that I'm putting in too much time in this. When I was in New York and I was single, and that's the caveat, when I was single, which means I had a lot more time on my hands, I was grinding it out, meaning I was doing a lot of side gigs. I was like, I had my day job and I would do my casino gigs, like 3 nights a week, making money to cover rent and bills. On top of that, whatever I could, I would go sing. That's part of it. Yeah, he is worried about me in regards to lack of sleep, putting up too much time, wanting to get like certain kinds of attention online, which as I said, I'm above board with everybody, and you've seen it, like I don't flirt with people. I will joke, but I will not openly flirt with people and give them the wrong impression of me. And and that was that was initially a concern, but once he's heard me, and especially when I draw the line, it's like, look, and the fact that I'm able to dedicate and to say, when I say family time, is family time. Like, that's why, like, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to be, at least this week, I'm not going to be doing any live because I'm spending time with family. That's already designated time. He even said, if we're going on vacation, are you going to go on live? I said, most likely not, because I'm spending time with the family. And I'll just let him know, I'll put in the schedule, like, on vacation, we'll be back, because I also think there has to be a balance, right? If you're going to, I understand, like, you guys are invested in me. I get it, and I totally appreciate that. And as such, I have to. There's a level of dedication I have to give to you guys to make it worth your while to come back, and build this out. It's not just me showing up and saying, hey, there is a level of work I have to do on my end to facilitate this and grow it. Because, whereas people, focus on the visual aspect of, and it may be easier for them because, they're born prettier than I am. Whatever it is, whatever the reason, and whatever the reasoning that draws people in for their feet, right? I have to make sure that I give you guys incentive to come back and hang out. Maybe he's worried about the screen time. Oh, no, I do touch grass. He was worried about having this overrun my life, and basically, be more important, eventually being more important than family. And I told him that's not the case. I'm when I say, I know what my structure is. I know what's most important to me, and basically the levels of priority based off of my life, like my health, my life, stuff like that, and where everything is on that platform. So basically, I once I clarified to him, look, and I showed him that these are where my benchmarks are. He was like a little bit more inclined to be like, all right, that's fine, as long as you keep within those benchmarks. Like I don't go too far over and all that. I will tell you this though, and him and I have discussed this, which is, if this thing gets big enough, I might consider, having this as a full-time gig, if that ever gets the case. Or if this translates into, say, me working, like, me doing stuff as a recording artist and being able to earn more money than I'm currently doing now, by at least 2 times how much I'm more than 2 times how much I'm making currently, then that'd be worth it. But right now it's not in the bracket where I would say it's safe for me to do that. and I'm not willing to try it out, and do that gamble. Also, I don't know how people could do 10 hours. Like, I've done 4 hours before, and how 10 hours streaming is just like bonkers to me. I understand, like, there's a rotating amount of people, I get it, but 10 hours, holy crap. And I know that people in between, they do battles and stuff, and they but also those agencies, I think, have more of people who are they have more like non-gamer types, where they have, like, people can like coordinate and meet, and you can actually have battles with people that you feel safe with. And that's the one thing about battling, because unless, at least in my situation, I don't know almost all the people that have asked me to battle, except for like maybe 1 or 2. It's like, oh, hey, but it's, I know that battling helps to break the monotony of having to have the same content over and over. It just changes it. And also it encourages people to gift and to engage and to tap and to, be participants, which is what we're trying to always do. you know, we're, and the thing is this, you know, when you're having a conversation with your, like, your best friend, like you haven't seen in a while, right? Eventually, you know, even if you have a great 7 hour conversation because you have, like, you're catching up, 10 hours is crazy. I was just thinking you could do something on the tech side of music since you have both. I could. A lot of my experience though is more in when it came to the business, is my experience was more so the business aspect, like, and what was needed to actually, like, to get yourself, like, interested by labels and working with producers, and basically what you should look for in regards to, you know, your team, stuff like that. In regards to the technical, in regards to tech side, I really wasn't working on that much, in the sense that, I understand AV, but because I actually worked for an AV company, and I was you know, I had to understand what I was dealing with. And as a singer, you know, you have to understand, like, your monitors and your mics and all that, and, like, live shows and stuff like that. But so yeah, and those standpoints. But in regards to tech, and you know, me being a developer, that part of my life didn't start until about 3 years ago, maybe four. Yeah, you know, because as I mentioned to you, I became a developer in during COVID, by taking classes, because, you know, it was the need of having to find a job when, if and when, a situation like this will happen. And unfortunately, with bird flu going on, I there's a possibility another wave of a new form of COVID will be out. Having absolutely no idea what that would be, but I'm guessing that there'd be something like apps, streaming. I'm still learning that aspect. So, as far as apps and streaming goes, my experience kind of caps where, at the beginning of Spotify and subscription services, because I was there when I was in Universal Music when Spotify was partnering with the company, and was talking to one of my bosses. I was like, you know, I was kind of like around that whole scenario when that was being developed, and that, and the evolution of iTunes, right? But now it's like translating into, like, a subscription service. Like, iTunes is now more or less like a subscription service, and, you know, Amazon has it too, you know, for Amazon Music. But it's and 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 in regards to apps, of whether it be building music or whatever have you, I have very little experience with that as of right now. I've tried to take a look at some, but I haven't found something that I like. Guessing apps need developers, and streaming services and need developers, especially who understand music. Actually, not really. Truthfully, they don't have to understand music at all. I will tell you this, because they just treat it as a file. That is it. Streaming services, like, okay, it's the file has a file length, and basically you time that length to end and start the new file, to execute the new file once that time period has elapsed, and that's just basically setting a timer. It's like, okay, okay, this song is going on for about 4 minutes, and then you end that file and start the new file, and that runs for that purpose. Literally, that's all it is. Those developers, really, in regards to that, don't really have to concern themselves with the actual kind of content. They just see it as a file. When they have to understand the business, no, not really. For developers, no, because all they're doing is they're building the structure to deliver the stuff. They're not. The actual running of the business is all executive C-suite people. They maybe marketing too, but otherwise. So the streaming service model is currently, as it is an expanded version of what Netflix was. Netflix is pretty much the one that kind of created the model that everybody's going on, but they did it for originally film and eventually, television series and moving forward. So they were the model because they were the first ones to build it in the form where it got so popular, and then everybody started applying that same structure to film, like Hulu, which is just generally ABC television, Fox television, and Disney. That's that whole conglomerate. That's Hulu, and then you also have like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Beyonce's and Jay-Z's earlier Tidal, which was also another streaming service. I've got it. You could be a liaison between music biz the the apps. Honestly, I think people are so. I am. The knowledge that I have makes me an enemy to the labels. I will tell you that. Because I will blow up their spot and let people know it's not worth it now at this juncture to even be signed to a label anymore, because people are doing it independently and they're doing it well, and they're doing it without the rigorous structures of the requirements of labels, because labels have stupid rules based off of marketing campaigns and how they want to spend their money versus artistic expression. And as an artist, you want to have artistic expression be recognized. So so right now the industry is no longer an album market, is a single market, and which means you can get big just by one song. So I am an enemy to labels now. If anybody wants to hire me to help them and put together a roadmap to how to build success but at this current market, because it changes. It'll change again, because this is replicating the 1950s and the 1960s, when it was a singles market. Gummo. I don't think I... Hold on. I've never seen that, so I couldn't tell you. But navigates and ruins a tiny tornado-ravaged town in Ohio. It's the form disturbed and perverted. I will take your word for it. Yeah, I will take your word for it. Hold on, that sounds familiar. Hold on. Takashi. American progressive style. Well, yeah. Actually, the best example, the big name example that most people don't realize would be Lil Wayne. When he started getting big, and he was literally all over the radio because he was like a featured artist in other people's stuff, he wasn't signed to a label yet. He was literally like asking to be on other people's songs, and those songs ended up on like be the one pushed to radio. At that time, that was when terrestrial radio was popular. Now it's like nowhere near as it used to be. But yeah, Lil Wayne was not even on a label. was not signed. He was literally just working with a bunch of people. Kanye also, when he was originally under Jay-Z, before Jay-Z finally signed him to lock him down, same, you know. But with Lil Wayne, they couldn't see. Normally, record label would base what to invest on you based off of how many singles you've sold, like your numbers. That's all they really saw initially. How many people were coming to your shows. It was never about artistic expression or how good they thought you were, or it was about how much they thought they could make out of you because you were able to build it yourself. They're amplifiers. So they will take your idea, your model, clean it up a bit, and then send it out to mass market. Because if you could, the way they saw it is, if you can make $50,000 in sales by yourself alone, them putting more money and cleaning you up and putting more money on you to produce your stuff, to like market your stuff, will make them more money as well. Yeah. Remembering Wayne when he was in Hot Boys. Yeah. It's a rather explicit rap song made with a cornball, able to scroll and enjoy and say whatever they want to with the freedom of anonymity. And I don't know, at some point they will land on my feed. I don't know if they will or won't. But if they do, I might as well be as genuine as I possibly can. And if they relate to anything I say, great. At least they know they have a safe space, because I get it. I get it from my own personal experience with the minor, super minor, level that I hit in the past, and who knows what's going to happen in the future, and just the understanding of being around it a lot. There has to be some sort of anonymity for you to be able to breathe, because honestly, living kind of that life feels like you're in a corset constantly, and you're not able to breathe, you're not able to eat normal foods, meaning, because you have to remain on a strict diet, so you have to, you're working like constantly. It's a whole different life than like the 9 to 5 that most people are used to. Like, it's really interesting when I think back to my past. Like, I did my regular 9 to 5, and then I would do like my performing, and then I would do like casino work, or I would do casino work and afterwards I'd go perform. I actually, for a while, broke my foot. I broke my my metatarsal. I think that's what it's called. It's like one of the end bones, like at your pinky toe. I had broken a bone, and I was still running to shows like that I was scheduled to perform at. And I had to go there I had to do these shows. I actually went to the venues with a crutch, and having to go upstairs and downstairs when that was such a pain in the butt. But I still had these obligations I had to meet, and you still do it whether you're broken or not. And I didn't and I remember having to do that. It's funny enough, there's a radio interview I did, somebody and where my foot was still broken at the time, somebody actually did a radio interview with me, and they described what I looked like, because it was kind of like an NPR kind of radio interview, and they described that I was in a cast and I was still going to shows, and that's how they first met me. So it's like, damn. But having to do that live and know that, even when you're hurt, you still have to perform, because when they say the show must go on, they are not kidding. All right, dude. I think I've said a lot, too freaking much. I've said too much. but honestly, if at some point, randomly, if there is an artist that ends up, coming in and hanging out and being part of Team Jennifer, and feeling safe in the space, then yay. Because honestly, I want the space to be safe for anybody and everybody. Unless if you deal with children, then I have an issue with you. But I think we can deal with jailhouse rules. We can agree, like, you don't deal with kids, you're good. If you deal with kids, you are not welcome. It's like, and no spammers. I think, like, we can all universally agree there are certain levels we are not going to accept. Just saying. I mean, Darnell, do you agree with me or not? Like, I believe you're a reasonable gentleman to understand, like, to agree with, like, the standards and the rules of our home base. He's most likely walked away, and it's perfectly fine. It is almost midnight here, so I was supposed to be off, like, by 11, but I figured I'd stay around. Hold on. What the heck?
Darnell says that's why we have wood chippers.
Fair point. Yeah, they're like, as I said, there's some benchmarks that we don't cross. When I say this is a judgment-free zone, that is the only judgment I have to place. Like, no, you mess with kids, you are out. What are you saying? Did 2Cap just join the chat? It's funny. Like, was it yesterday? I was just about to log off. All of a sudden, everybody came on. I'm like, where have you been? Jesus. Hold on. It's like, there's nobody I know who's on, like, live to battle. Granted, I get crushed, I know that, but that's perfectly fine. I'm totally fine with that. Anyway, Darnell, thank you for hanging with me. I think you're about maybe one other person is in the chat. It says Mariella is in the chat, but Mariella logged off a while ago, so I don't know. That's why they ended your friends live. They can't leave minors unsupervised on here at all. Yeah. So if I remember the rules, it's like if you are 14, you can join TikTok, but you must have your parents' approval to do it. And the thing is that you cannot, from my understanding, you can't go live. If once you are 18, you're allowed. You have that provision where you can actually do that. So it's I don't like people that manipulate children. I find that reprehensible. And anybody who tries to justify that, especially if they're a teacher, yeah, I get really pissed about that. So if you're in a position where you are a trusted member of community or society, or a trusted member to be an overseer of children, and you abuse that privilege, we have problems. So as I said, that is the only rule of when I say no judgment, that is the only one that I will judge and be like, no, out. That's why they have audience control. Yeah. I agree. But yeah, that's also one of the reasons why children are not allowed to, like, if you do a feed with children, your TikTok gets throttled for like several days. So it's like, no. So that, thankfully, if you're in an agency, they could take that ban off. But that's like Janet did. Janet said, what is McCall 2 days ago when I was on her evening live, she was saying she had allowed a child to do karaoke on her feed, and then when she got back to looking at the responses from the feed, she realized that she was banned, like not banned and shut down. Like she had a major infraction that took 2 weeks or a week for her agency to lift off of her account, which means no FYP. If the only people, like, it wouldn't, her feed would never show up on people's FYP, and there was a good possibility they were not going to promote her stuff at all. So, but as I said, it's understandable. They're trying to make sure that it's appropriate for PG-13, if anything. So, rage and chat. There's a TikToker who advocates for jailhouse justice for those types of people. No, I believe it. I believe it. So I think, honestly, as reprehensible as people who do that are, I think a lot of them were victims, and basically, it's just a rehash of what the abuse that they went through, and I think therapy is necessary, and if they cannot get clear of it through therapy, then yes, something harsher needs to be placed. But from my understanding, I haven't had personal experiences with it. I've known people who have, in the sense of being victims. And, the understanding of people who are victims sometimes end up either being violently opposed to it or being perpetrators. So, he's rather famous. Just can't think of his name. Fair enough. So that's what I'm saying. If it's an issue where people are already damaged and they need help and understanding, and then I can understand, like, them getting the help that they need, and making them decent people in society if they're able to break out of that mindset. But if they are not, then there's another problem. JD Daly. Okay. Yeah, I know, like, other people are thinking, are more to corporal punishment than, and I get it. I really do. But I get it. But I think if there is healing that needs to be done and that could be corrected, because I'm not too fond of punishing somebody who's been punished and doesn't know how to fix it, and what they really need is help, then yeah, that needs to be fixed. You can't, a victim becomes a perpetrator because they just don't know they don't know any other way. But I'm not saying that's every one of them. I'm saying those that if they cannot get out of their behavior, then yeah, something else has to be done. His slogan was Wood Chipper 2024, and that's how I got the idea. Fair enough. Like, alcoholics. Usually those that are either alcoholics or abusive have been victims of it themselves, and basically they're just repeating the actions of their damage. So, up until that that curse, more or less, because I see it closer to be, if we're using church talk, a generational curse. So I think help needs. I think the reason we're more severe over some actions than others is because because the victims, and I totally agree. But I think people first need to be given the grace of, okay, if you seek help and the help works, okay, then that's good. But if it doesn't, and you have no remorse over your actions and what is done, it's done. Then yeah, heavier punishment needs to be applicated, but must be applicable. Thank you. No, but that's. I know not everybody shares my opinion. A lot of people just said, cut it to the quick and just like deal with it, but deal with the people in just hardcore justice. And I get that point, but it doesn't fix the problem. And I'm all about, you don't fix it, because the only way we know that these people are perpetrators are because they have created victims, which means those that will potentially will happen again. That's definitely part of it in recovering myself from substance. It's just that a lot of times we learn these behaviors from the adults that are around us, and sometimes they're not the safest individuals. So people go one of two ways. They either repeat the same actions that harmed them, or they become staunch, like staunchly opposed to those actions, and and just don't want to potentially become the monster that created them. And I understand that perfectly well. But as I said, everybody, I believe in healing first. And seeing if that, because there are people that have no remorse at all. If you have no remorse, that's another story. I read that 8% of monsters were victimized themselves. Exactly. It is a learned behavior, and it's based off of we repeat the behaviors of those that trained us, that parented us, that were our influencers of our lives. That's why they say daughters marry their guys that are like their fathers, and if their father was abusive or father wasn't present, they end up going and getting involved with men like that. Or if their parent was abusive, they have a habit of becoming abusive themselves, whether becoming the victim or the abuser. And it's not uncommon, because if that's all you know and you do not know anything else, then this becomes your regular life. This becomes your regular existence. Good old daddy issues. It's a generational curse. Essentially, it is a behavior that is learned from father or mother to child, and when they become a parent, it's replicated because they don't know any better. Yeah, logically, we know it's wrong, but if this was not addressed as to, what's a proper way of dealing with anger, what's a proper way, what's a proper method of dealing with stress, and it's not, and because the thing is, a lot of times people who are from poor communities are not given the therapy they need and the help they need to make their overall lives better. Or for the longest time, up until recently, therapy was considered completely taboo. Anybody who got therapy was wrong or were weak or whatever have you. And people still have that mentality, which is completely wrong. And then or whatever have you. And people still have that mentality, which is completely wrong. And then because it was considered, if you need therapy, you get therapy, you're weak. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's you're dealing with actions and behaviors that are learned, and you're going to a doctor to get that dealt with. It has nothing to do with weakness. It has more to do with clarity and understanding of controlling of your behavior, and sometimes it has to do with controlling of dopamine receptors, which becomes more chemical, which I keep on explaining to people, in regards to depression. Depression isn't just feeling bad and sad. It means that there's excess chemicals in your brain that is and pretty much bringing you down, and basically the receptors in regards to feeling those feelings, those pathways, those neural pathways, basically the arteries to your brain that are associated with those sensations, those feelings, are stronger than others because they're used more often. So therefore, people are more apt who are depressed to feel depressed because that is their normal state of mind. That is their automatic go-to. Not because they want to, is because that's how their brain functions. And some people need chemicals to help them regulate that. And it takes a lot of training too to get out of that. People don't realize it is a chemical condition too. Like, depression isn't just feelings. Depression is about chemicals. Dude, I am SSRI. Was it? Psychology field understands this. They just use the term trauma instead of curse. Yeah, that's true. Curse has more connotations to a religion of some sort, and so people don't feel that it is a proper use of the word to define what is a continuous problem in a replicated problem in a family. The selective serotonin, SSRIs, yeah, exactly. Up until you've studied it because you've gone through it. I did, like, in the sense that I needed to feel better and get out of where I was emotionally. It took me like a lot of study to understand, oh, this is what it is. So that there was a study done, I hate to say this, on triplets, and they weren't not made aware of it, where they were separated at birth to different families of different financial standings and basically temperaments and all that, and they ended up these male triplets were reintroduced to each other and basically became like celebrities back in like the 2000s, like early 90s. Around the 90s. And even though they had the same genetic makeup, one ended up being depressed so much, or he actually offed himself, because it was his own feelings and not his, because of the abuse that he had. It ended up putting him in a state of depression more often, to the point where it became something that was commonplace for him, and eventually he just couldn't take it anymore. So, your preaching to the choir. Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I need to. My coworker was something. Oh no, understood. We're talking. We got into like some deep conversation. I remember the story of the triplets. So sad. Yeah, they didn't realize, the kids didn't realize that they were part of. These kids became adults, and they didn't realize that they were part of a social experiment. They wanted to see how different factors, environmental factors, would change their personalities, and it was done with like more than one set of like twins or triplets. And it was shown that even if you have the same genetic makeup, nurture has a lot to do with how somebody develops and grows up, not necessarily just nature. So, the question of nurture versus nature. Oh, excuse me. Darnell got kicked off and he brought back. So, yeah, it's in. They said since it wasn't a properly controlled experiment, they couldn't use the findings to justify nurture versus nature. But I think it's kind of apparent that nurture has a lot to do with what happens to people later on in life. It's not just nature. Nature is only does so much, is in charge of so much in respect to how people grow up and what they become. But yeah, like, I have to remind people, like, when people say they have depression, it is partially a bodily chemical disorder.
That wasn't he trying to set phone down low.
Oh, did you have to recharge? I'm thinking about getting a mixer and starting to record again and seeing, like, getting like a MIDI controller and basically like putting together tracks for me to sing to. I'm thinking about it, but that means more time. I already dedicate like 5 hours a day. At the bare minimum, like the least, like on my on TikTok. Epigenetics. Epigenetics. Okay. Heritage changes in gene expression, whether turned on or off, that occur without alterations in the DNA sequence influence factors. Yeah, that makes sense. No, that makes sense. Yeah, environmental factors do play a role in what happens to the offspring moving forward, because depression can be developed, anxiety can be developed, ADHD and all that can be developed, and that ultimately becomes a chemical imbalance in the body, ultimately changing your genetic makeup as well as the genetic makeup of your offspring. It makes perfect sense, because like that whole adaptability, and my husband and I were talking about this recently, where there are a lot more people out there that talk about about being anxious, and it's more commonplace now because of all the overt stress that people are going through on a daily basis, and whether it be fiscal or social, because of whether it be fiscal or social, because of like social media. Honestly, I think we're kind of over the Instagram phase of social media, where everything had to be like Instagram perfect. Everything had to be like styled in a certain way and all that. I think we're kind of over that phase. Excuse me. I think, and thankfully we are, because I mean, granted, there's still going to be people like that try to make things all pretty and stuff. But the thing is, ultimately, I think live, I mean, live has changed, at least the way TikTok does it. Or even YouTubers originally, at least the gamer YouTubers, the males, they were less inclined. They're not going to do their makeup. They're there to play a game. They're there to engage their fan base. They really don't care about this whole glamorization of a person. Although I will tell you, from my understanding, Douyin is still into the the Instagrammation, more if you will, of influencers. Oh, they have to be pretty and and wealthy and all that to get like influence the following. But I think ultimately, if you have a decent enough, if you're not an asshole, you'll be able to build a decent fan base. Anyway, I think I'm idealistic, but I also don't want to come off sounding like too hippie-ish, because fuck that. I don't want to seem like, oh, flower child. No. Like, talking about your feelings all that, dude, no. Ironically, they showed that you could transmit a learned fear, fear, I believe that. Yeah, eventually it changes the makeup, and I can totally see that being the case, like, generationally. It's not uncommon. Yeah, for people who, like, people have to get over and we were talking about this earlier. If people can get over the fact that depression isn't just a feeling situation, it's not a feeling state. It's a biochemical state, and it's a neuropathic state. You know, and being able to sit with them and explain to people, people have anxiety and depression. If they have it more frequently, guess what? It becomes chronic. Because that becomes the normal your state, a default state in your body, because that's how your body works. The more frequent you do something, it becomes a default state in your body, and guess what? That will change your genetics. So it's, people don't understand like how you treat other people. Like when people like play pranks on others, or they say, "Oh, I'm just joking." I'm sorry, but joking is a default way of saying I'm being a passive aggressive fuck to mistreat you, and being able to just to not take responsibility for it by saying, "Oh, I was just joking," but it's just a passive aggressive way to actually hurt somebody. I had a I'm going to mention this. So, I had a friend who I wasn't too close to him, but I was a friend with him for a long time, and I was a friend with him on social media for a long time. And he had this habit of being a bully sometimes, and basically if I told him I didn't like him doing something or saying something, even as innocuous as, purposely saying my name incorrectly, because it would bother me, but he knew it would bother me, that's why he did it. I was like, you know what, I'm not, it annoyed the hell out of me. And I told him enough times, look, this is just not cool. I don't appreciate this. And he would be like, oh, yeah. Oh, I was just joking, whatever have you, Oh, I'm just joking with you. But he knew that it bothered me. And eventually, ultimately, he told me openly that he was it a pumpkin Palpatine promoter, using Darnell's terminology. A pumpkin Palpatine supporter. And I was like, how can you be that way, knowing you have 2 daughters, knowing what this piece of trash is going to do? And he was like, oh, well, it's going to be good for my business, whatever have you. I said, you know what? I told him, yeah, I have a belief that there are 2 kinds of Palpatine supporters. You are either bullies or you are suffering from some kind of situation where you're going through Stockholm syndrome, that you are so used to being under the thumb of dictators that you justify dictatorship behavior. Either either people, either groups of people are not healthy to be around. And I told him, and I said, look, and basically he was like, don't tell me about that mess. And I was like, you know what? It's something I should have done a long time ago. I can't just say, for the small kindnesses that you give me, that this worth keeping a friendship, when you know that you do things that I don't like and you consistently do that to me. Because a lot of minor infractions ultimately just shows you how much of a red flag you are. So I cut him off. I see them as selfish people. Taking out hate I out of the equation, I think they're just ultimately very selfish individuals. Because if you're thinking more about your money over the entire workings of your society and like the livelihood of those around you that are part of your support, because we never do this by ourselves. We're all part of a community, and you can't just say, oh, he's just I'm going to get more money, fuck everyone else. You can't do that, because ultimately, if everyone around you suffers, you're going to suffer along with them. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to benefit, so I'm going to vote for this person. No, because if you know that their wants and their desires, what they're going to implement, will harm the vast amounts of people around you, including those in your family, you have to question why you're doing this. Because ultimately it comes down to selfishness. And if you are selfish in that category, then that tells me you're not somebody I want to deal with anyway. All the ISMs are ultimately based on selfishness. I agree. Look, there are two kinds of selfishness. Selfishness in regards to survival of yourself and your family, but that doesn't necessarily mean the harming of anybody else. It just means you're focused on the survival of yourself and your family. And then the other one is greed. And greed is the bad kind. Greed, selfishness, meaning benefit of yourself, and like no matter who you hurt, that becomes the problem. So that's like, I don't understand how people can think, if somebody has to like, be harmed for them to benefit. It really boggles my mind. He is basically conservative talk radio come to life. Now he was a bully. He was a bully, and what was worse was he was bullied when he was younger, and he doesn't even realize he's replicating the same problem that he was trying to get over when he was a child. And as smart as this man was, he was also not willing to see the forest for the trees. And I had to end how long was that friendship? God. I had to end a 20 plus year friendship over it. And he came one time on to my live, because I have not blocked him on TikTok yet. And he said, when you're ready to talk to me. And I'm like, nope. Red flag. Outside of him supporting the pumpkin Palpatine, the fact that I repeated to him consistently when he would constantly like tease me over stuff that annoyed me. And I told him, look, that's not, I don't consider that funny. and he just kept on doing it. It just tells me that, like, you have no respect over my boundaries, and I can't deal with that. Oh, you're talking about the tyrant himself? No, he's not a conservative. He's not. He's a dictator. Conservatives at least care about the republic. This one doesn't care about the republic at all. He just cares about, like, himself, and that's it. Republic cares about the benefit of all those in power, including themselves. He just cares about himself. So that's how that differs. Good for you, standing your ground. Yeah, I hate that it had to take. He may think it's still politics based, but it's not politics based. You know, he and yeah, I'm just not. I don't think I'm just going to go into that anymore with him. It's like that is. It is what it is. And yeah, I think at some point you just have to say, you know, like, you have to make a decision with certain people in your lives, and if they cannot respect your boundaries, to just say, you know, it's done. Yeah, but if you ever listen to it, it was Tangerine Tyrant's rhetoric. Now, actually, it was just, honestly, it was sound bites to encourage those of the conservative line to follow suit. It was this he was always wanting to say things that he didn't necessarily mean, just so he could get favor. And that's technically it, because, you know, this time around he came with an arsenal of people that knew what they were doing, rather than flying off the seat of his pants, which he did the first time. You know, he was just saying things to win over the his constituency. You have to remember, back in when he first started politics, he was a Democrat, and then he turned Republican later to for the bid for his first bid of the White House, which he has admitted privately and in smaller interviews that he did not expect to win. He was doing it as a fluke, kind of like if The Rock went and ran for president. Like, there was no seriousness involved in it. It was just doing it just to get like notoriety, just to keep his name in the papers. And the fact that there was such a disturbing amount of people in middle America that thought, well, he's a successful businessman, which he is not. He has all these hotels, which he is not. They're just licensing his name. And they were under the false impression because of the show that he had, which his own producers even said that the guy was like a abject failure. He just had his name everywhere, and people assumed that meant that he had money. You know, it. The fact of the matter is that, you know, people were he didn't even think he was going to win, and then he won off of the hate of people wanting to that were backlashing over Obama's administration for and honestly, you know, Obama didn't even place too much in the way of social change for Black America. Not as much as, like, Black America was hoping that they would receive for him being president. Whether that be positive or negative, I'm not one to judge. I'm not part of of the group that can answer that question. Yeah, but if, let's see, basically the talk shows would dial it up to 15, and the politicians who had sense would stop at 8. Tangerine Tyrant is one of the first to dial it up to 15 and actually try to implement it. When he thought he had a shot, yes. And the thing is, he saw that there were people that were upset, and he played on that, and he just, because he was like, there's a groundswell of people, particularly males, of white and Hispanic males. Hispanic meaning those that have been in the country for decades, like generationally, that and that feel that they are no longer Hispanic, but they are white. And there are plenty of people like that in this country, and also Asians that feel the same way, which I am disgusted to say that one of them is my mother, which was why one of the reasons why her and I don't talk, and not just politically, but it's like, yeah, it's a very he brought the idea of he played on the weakness that white America felt over Trump, over Obama becoming president, which I think is lunacy. They didn't lose as much. They didn't lose as much as they thought they were saying they would. It's totally bonkers. I am not at liberty to say, based off of my experiences, because I do not understand from my standpoint how Black America benefited from Obama being in office, because I am not of that race, so I cannot speak for another culture, and I choose not to. But from my understanding, he didn't implement as much change as people would hope. Yes. And it has more to do with who was in power versus what happened, because honestly, they stick the whole idea of Obamacare, the title of Obamacare, to make people angry, but a lot of white Americans don't understand that that's the alternate name for the Affordable Health Care Act, and there are so many people who are dumb. They don't understand that Obamacare is the Affordable Health Care Act, and they benefit from the Affordable Health Care Act. It's lunacy. Like there were people talking about cutting government spending, and the waste of government, and yet they were the ones that were receiving like benefits. There were people that were having their food stamp card, their SNAP benefits, refused at the supermarket, like when they start cutting that, and people start losing their damn minds. And now college students are not able to get their student loans, because of the cuts in government spending. It's people who have been benefiting from it for decades through different channels that they did not understand, are pissed now, because they didn't realize that all the extra money was money to help everyone, including themselves, and they shot themselves in the foot. I've seen interviews where they say they hate Obamacare, but they love the Affordable Health Care Act is Obamacare. It is just a marketing term. That's all. It is the exact same thing. It is Obamacare. The formal name of Obamacare is the Affordable Health Care Act. Obamacare is just the media name for the same thing. And I'm not saying the same thing as in like generic versus like brand name. I'm saying they are one and the same. And I wish people would do their research. I really wish that people would do their research, because a lot of people don't. It boggles my mind. When you make decisions like that, like every time I vote, okay, I always I always request a mail-in ballot, not necessarily because I'm going to mail in my ballot, but because when you get your mail-in ballot, you see all the stuff that are up for vote. All the politicians are up for election or re-election. You see the entire thing long before the actual election date. So it gives me enough time to sit down, go onto the internet, look up the politicians' websites, what their talking points are, what they believe, what their history is, A, B, C, and D. So I can make an informed decision in the time frame that is workable for me. You know, let's see. I never voted, dude. Teach me. Let's see. Looked up leopards. Or my face song on Voldemort too. So Sabrina, you've never voted before, or you're not of the age? Because I totally understand if you look relatively young. So so there's the caveat of you must be a U.S. citizen, which is understandable because you'd be voting for the politician that represents you, and you should have a state license of the state you're currently living in, because that's how they validate which district you're going to be voting on. So you could actually go online and request if you have if you've registered to vote. If you haven't, just go online and look up register to vote for your area, and you could actually sign up for that. I'm 26, almost 27. My eldest voted during for Biden's first election when he turned 21. So no, was it 21? Yeah, I think so. So so I understand this being relatively new. So as I said, must be a U.S. citizen, must be 18 or older, I believe. So if you must live in the state where your ID is. In other words, if you lived in New York and you moved to Georgia, but you still have your New York ID, you have to change it to Georgia, and then you'll be able to register to vote, because it has to be based off of where you're currently living in. Then you got to register to vote, which is going online, looking up how to register to vote, and they'll just give you, it's free. Just put up all the information. How's it being blue in a red state? The good thing about where I live is it's primarily blue in my vicinity, Orlando and Kissimmee, because you have a lot of blue collar and a lot of city types. So you have I'm kind of centralized in a blue area, even though it's a red state. So but Sabrina, it's just put out, just when you look up the website, it should be a government website. In other words, it should end in .gov. Just put in the information, and then you'll be registered to vote, and you'll be sent the documents in regards to voting for your primary, if you say you're Republican or Democrat, when that time comes. And then when the bigger vote comes, then you'll be given the dates and information on that too. But that's essentially how you do it. You could do it online. It's pretty straightforward, and it's pretty easy. But honestly, it's really important, particularly when you're voting for local government, because those are the people that directly affect everything that happens in your community. So sometimes people just overlook it for the big elections, and I get it, but it's really important to look up at least your local, the people that are vying for seats in your local government. And people don't realize how much power those people have in basically in your backyard. So it's important to look those up too. Darnell, I never asked you where are you. What state do you live in? Well, you know I'm in Florida, so San Diego. So California is like, I know there's like strongholds in California that I read, but I know that you guys are like your governor is blue. What is it? More Democrat. So San Diego's the city of San Diego is more Democrat. So basically, you're more on the blue side anyway. So you're good to go. Like, well, New York was the same way. So you had anything in the city was blue. Anything outside of the city was red. But then again, as I said, up until you live in both environments, can you be a proper judge of what works better or not? City of San Diego is blue. Eastern San Diego County is red. Like New York State primarily was red, and New York City was blue. Georgia, I feel from what I hear, Atlanta is blue. Everything else is like a mixed bag, but mostly red. And in Florida, the big cities like Tampa, Orlando, and I believe like Miami, they're all blue, and everything else is red from my recollection. But as I said, I've come to learn that I've come to expect that anybody that supports the pumpkin is is a selfish individual. Even Republicans don't like him. My husband is a Republican. He's center leaning though, but he doesn't like him at all. He did not vote for him. He voted for Harris last election, and he was like he doesn't want that Orange Julius in that seat because he'll start treating it as a throne and it'll be an embarrassment for us in relation to foreign policy. And my husband was right. Total embarrassment. But and that is the eyes of somebody who is a Republican saying that. He said that. So just know that it's not about Republicans per se, because there are plenty of Republicans that find that man reprehensible and did not vote for him. It's the selfish ones though that you have to worry about. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's bad when you're too right wing. Yes, that is the biggest example. Liz Cheney was the perfect example because her family is straight off hardcore, like staunch Republican, from her father Dick Cheney, like Liz. Yes, and when literally the banner of Republican families is saying you are going too far, you're not even part of the Republican Party anymore. You're a freaking, you know, you're dictatorship waiting to happen. That should tell you something. And she warned them. She warned them. And truthfully, I'm not one of those that vote the part down the party line. There are some people that I represent, like people I do not respect in the Democratic Party, which I think are just grandstanders. They're not there for any other reason but to gain attention. I will not name names, but there are people that are not there for the good of the party or the good of the people. They're there for the good of themselves, and I will not vote for them. Like going down the party line, I will not vote for them. But and with that, there are some center leaning Republicans that are like I can jive with, because if you talk about their policies and what their history has been, they are reasonable. There are some reasonable Republicans, I gotta say. So I can't say just because you're a Republican you're bad, but just because you're like Democrat that you're good, because there are always bad ones and good ones in the bunch. Taint. Oh my god. The sad part is I like tangerines, so that just makes it horrible for me. Oh my god. But everybody's open, is welcome to their opinion. I have not walked in people's shoes. I just walked in my own, and I know from my own experience what it looks like on my end. But I can't say, to tell somebody you're completely wrong about this, that, because I don't agree with them. People have the right to their voice. But we also have to remember that all of us, everybody, we make errors, we make mistakes, and that's how we grow. Some people did make that mistake, and they're going to grow from it. Not saying the combo is sleepy. I am sleepy, and that's good night all. That's not an issue of tangerine or oranges. I understand, Darnell. But I still like tangerines, and it just makes me sad. Anyway, I gotta go. It's almost like 1 a.m. and then I have to get some stuff done before I go to bed. So thank you for joining me on my evening live. I will be back next week. I may do an evening live in the next 3 days. I doubt it though. But the next schedule will be placed up for my music live on Sunday after 9 p.m. And you can, guys, if you have the invite to join Team Janifer's.
Okay, good night. Great chat.
Thank you. It was great chat too. If you guys got the invite to go and join Team Janifer on Discord, please do so. It's just a way for me to ensure that if TikTok does go down in the United States, I'm able to let you know where I'm going to continue streaming. And it also gives you information on some of the states. I'm able to let you know where I'm going to continue streaming. And it also gives you information on some of the bonuses you get as being a member of Team Janifer. And if you got the message in your DMs, just check and to make sure. And if you have any questions, first of all, Discord is free. You don't have to worry about buying anything. You don't have to pay for anything. And the only thing I ask when you join is to put your display name of your TikTok display name into the request when they ask you what your TikTok name is. The reason being is because I'm making that channel strictly for Team Janifer members, those that have paid the 1 penny to be part of Team Janifer. So I just want to make sure that you are actually part of that list. So yeah, please join, and I will see all of you very soon. Y'all have a great night, and thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, everyone.